over again and do the best we can to answer each other's questions honestly, and I think that'll be productive. So, Charlie, we can hear you. Are those things okay with you, and are there any other ground rules that you wanted to add?
Well, maybe all of us shouldn't talk too long, because, if one person talks 10 minutes and then another person talks a minute, I think we should not try to, use up too much of the time and be fair with each other. I'm not going, I may stop talking even though I want to continue talking. It's just that I don't want to talk too long before you respond.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that if we go off on too long of rants about any particular thing, then you're going to lose some of the points, and you're not going to be able to address those things. I'm not going to break out a stopwatch and restrict us and that sort of thing, but like I said, we need to be respectful of each other's time. So if that's okay with you, Greg, is that okay with you? You good with everything?
Yep, sounds like a plan to me.
Great. So if it's all right with you, Charlie, I want to start off by just asking some questions to get the conversation going, and maybe once we get some clarity on those sort of things for the people listening and for myself, we can go from there. Is that all right with you?
It's fine.
Okay. So my first question that Greg and I are both dying to know is why is this issue of homosexuality something that you've been talking to the atheistic, or calling into the Atheist Experience show to talk about? Why is that a medium that you've chosen for this topic?
Well, I used to debate Christians all the time, and I used to be a really radical atheist, debating against Christians and people who don't like atheists. And I mentioned that I was about to perform first of all, I performed as atheist rapper at the American Atheist, and that went good. Then I was about to perform at the Atheist Alliance, and then somebody asked me, do I support gay marriage, and I said no. And then Dave started sending me hate mail, and I'm not an atheist, you're a bigot, and you should perform, you should be an atheist, and some of you threatened my life. Then I said, well, wait a minute. These people are attacking me, right? I made a whole album, and they didn't send me hate mail. Then so this looks like it's going to be okay. Then I said, okay, it's time for me to switch modes. Seems like these people want to fight.
Okay.
Then I figured I should attack those who attack me, even though I don't oppose. Even though I oppose gay marriage, I never went out and attacked them, right? And even though I believe gay men are disgusting, I never went out and attacked them. But in effect, they're going to attack me, all right? First of all, I paid for atheist commercials, right? I produced and promoted an atheist commercial for promoting the Atheist Alliance convention, and they tried to ban me from the, not only did they talk to my performance, they tried to ban me from the convention that I promoted.
Okay.
All because I opposed gay marriage. So I feel like there's something that I came to the conclusion that something is deeply wrong with these people. Because why would any atheist, and you know what, by the way, they also tried to ban my atheist music because I oppose gay marriage. Now, my atheist music has nothing to do with gays. I don't even mention gays. But they try to ban my atheist music because I oppose gay marriage. And so basically that led me to the point to where, okay, instead of me being Christians, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more fun debating the gay atheists because they're it's more fun, and also it's a bigger challenge. Debating Christians is not fun because there's no challenge. It's so easy. It's just too easy.
Well,
I also needed a bigger challenge.
I would find that
too easy debating Christians.
That yeah, if you're if you're debating Christians, it's a little bit easier. I think there's a lot more evidence in your favor in that case. But if I'm correct, then you find that atheists in particular are more militant about this issue than, say, the Christians were about their issue, and therefore you wanted to target that specific part of the audience that that you had a problem with, rather than necessarily homosexuals in general, and you thought that the Atheist Experience show, for example, was a good medium to do that then?
Well, you know what, that was just, I just decided to call in, and I didn't make, they said that something about there's no rational arguments against gay marriage, and anybody who opposes gay marriage is ignorant, and I didn't agree, and I just called it in. Basically, what I used to do, I do the gays, because it's just a part of my person. Like, if you attack me, I'm gonna attack you. Now, I'm not, that's just how I am. And gay atheists, or pro-gay atheists, clearly went on a cruel attack. I'm talking about hate mail and death threats. All because I oppose gay marriage. Now, that's what you call true bigots. Anybody who wants to send death threats because of my views, something's got to be wrong with them.
Okay.
And I find that interesting.
Well, I'll come out and say on my behalf, and Greg, if you disagree with me, feel free to let us know. But I agree that it's not right for people to send you death threats or to try to attack in that sort of way somebody just because of their position on anything. Just having your position, I guess, on a political choice, something like that. I don't think it's worthy of death threats. I don't think it's worthy of an angry response, and I don't think that's a productive way to change your mind. I don't think that if you were to give death threats to religious people, that's going to make them change their mind about their religious point of view. That's not the way to go about it. Attacking you isn't the way to go about it, and I'm sorry that people took that method with you. That's not going to happen here. So.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know why, but it seems like atheists seem to be extremely emotional about homosexuality. It's like even more than they are about religion. And I understand that some of them believe that religion fuels the animosity against gays. And so I'm thinking, I don't know for sure, but that might have something to do with why there's such radical atheists in the first place. Well, because it seems like once somebody mentions, I'm sorry? Go ahead, I don't want to talk, but...
In the interest of trying to help you understand that, Charlie, I think it's because, and this is debatable whether it's wise to do so or not, but people who want to consider themselves, the atheist group, as you know, in and of itself is not popular. It's not a popular position to take. There are already a lot of people that think negative things. They have a negative presupposition against atheists as it is, and the last thing that a lot of those people want is to have somebody going around claiming to be an atheist who feels, I'm not using claim in the sense that it's not true, but going around saying that, yeah, I'm an atheist and I have this thing that is also radically unpopular, and I'm representing, they view it as you representing atheism in a negative light, and I think it's important for people in the atheist community to recognize the exact same thing that I said at the start of the show, that the only thing that atheists are all united on is that they don't believe in God. And that's it. It's okay to have any other number of things that you feel, whether it be a political position or anything like that. But that's the reasoning. I'm not saying that's a justifiable reason for you to be attacked or that sort of thing, but the reason that I guess you're seeing a lot of atheists coming after you like that is because they don't, they have enough trouble with people already thinking that they're all devil worshippers or things of that nature, and they don't want people thinking that we're all anti-gay either, if it's a position that they radically disagree with. So.
Well, you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with admitting that you're disgusted by gay men and stating the reasons where the disgust came from, it seems like pro-gay atheists and gays alike cannot tolerate any views about gays that they don't like, whether it's true or false. So, in their minds, it's like they want to code of ethics in the atheist community. It seems like their code of ethics is don't say anything negative about gays, whether it's true or false. It's like it's almost like a Christian code of ethics. Don't say you don't believe in God. Don't say anything about God, whether it's true or false. It's something it's like a code of ethics. You just don't say anything bad about God. You don't question God. You don't question the Bible. It's a code of ethics. It seems like atheists have that view. Don't say anything bad about homosexuals. Don't mention gay men having high rates of HIV. If you do, make sure you bash the heteros too.
Well,
it just seems like this. I'm sorry?
Well, yeah, I mean, there is some balance to be reached there, and you're going into some other topics that we'll get to. But on that note, I did want you to understand, maybe at least have some understanding for why that is, and see why those people. I understand that it's your position. Of course, you think that's okay and that's fine, and I agree that the best interest would be to separate the topics of atheism from the topic of in order to make sure that if people that disagree with you, they're going to be disagreeing with you for the right reason and for the right topic, not because you're an atheist that's making them look bad. So I just think that to call up a show and say something like, "Hey, I'm an atheist homophobe. What do you think about that?" I don't think that's necessarily. That's probably going to get you more of that negative behavior as opposed to just talking whatever medium it is that is going to get you the audience that you're looking for.
You know what? I'm sorry. Are you finished?
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know. First of all, when I called themselves atheist homophobe, I already had in my mind that they have a code of ethics in the first place, and it's clear that atheists have a code of ethics to not say anything bad about gays, whether it's true or false. Mm-hmm. And to me, stating true claims about gays is by no means negative. I mean, I thought atheists were out about reality and truth, regardless of if it makes people comfortable or uncomfortable. It makes plenty Christians uncomfortable to say God is fake and Jesus is imaginary. But guess what? It makes gays uncomfortable to say that disgust of gays could be possibly evolutionary. That makes them uncomfortable. So, like on one hand, they have no problem telling the truth, which makes Christians uncomfortable. But when it comes to telling the truth to make gays uncomfortable, it's all of a sudden like racism. I find that hypocritical. See, from my standpoint, from me debating with Christians and gays, I'm seeing a lot of similarities. They both easily feel attacked when one mentions the truth about religion or gays.
Okay. Again, yeah, I get that you feel that way, and I agree that in a situation where even if something is the truth and the truth isn't comfortable for people, then you should still stand by the truth and go with that. But now, obviously, what you consider to be the truth in this situation, I don't, and we'll get to that. But there are a couple other questions I wanted to ask you for clarity before we move to that point. Do you still identify yourself as homophobic?
Yes, I can consider myself homophobic, and it's something I'm pushing. I think that people should probably, if they're disgusted by gay men, they should say they're homophobic. Because the reason why is because it seems like many pro-gays won't stop using the word. They insist on using the word incorrectly. They insist on labeling people that, who are not scared of gays, they label anyone who says anything that they don't like about gays homophobic, whether it applies to the definition or not.
Okay.
In effect, it's you. I'm sorry?
No, so for this issue, I think that your best, and I understand that you do not fear homosexuals, but you must acknowledge that the majority of the people on the planet, when they hear the term homophobia, they are going to associate that with being afraid. And that therefore, if you say that you are homophobic or you are a homophobe, then that's what they're going to associate it with. They're going to think that's what you're saying. Now, I just wanted to get that particular label thing cleared up. Whether you are against homosexuals because you are disgusted by them or because you're afraid of them isn't really relevant. But we're going to cut to the core soon about why it is that you are against homosexuals or homosexual marriage and that sort of thing. But I just wanted to clear that part up. I wanted to ask you, in your comment section and that sort of thing, you say a lot of times, studies show this and studies show that, and you've put a couple of studies, you've referenced them. I wanted to know if you've actually read through all the studies that you've cited for yourself,
yes.
and so you have read the papers yourself and familiarized yourself with them?
Yeah, before you move on to that, I wanted to address your claim about homophobia, because I never responded to that. So you made a claim that I disagreed with.
Oh, go ahead.
And you went on to another topic but I never addressed the first claim yet.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. The problem is, on one hand, pro-gays purposely use the term label people homophobic who are not afraid of gays. They have no evidence that these people are afraid of gays, but they label them homophobic anyway.
Okay. Right? So I would say that they are wrong.
I'm sorry?
I agree with you that if people are
okay.
If they're labeling people the wrong way, then that's their wrong. If they are if they say someone's afraid of homosexuals without any evidence, just because they have an anti-gay marriage purpose, and there are a number of reasons that people go against gay marriage. Some of it's just semantics, and we'll get to that, I'm sure, later. But I disagree with people automatically assuming things like, oh, well, if that person's against gay marriage, then that's a closet homosexual. That person's just afraid of homosexuals. I'm with you there, but I don't think that the wise choice is to make a big argument over saying I'm homophobic because I'm disgusted and I'm not afraid. I think that you're...
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem. The problem is we can't just sit back and just let them just label us that so they can beat us into the ground and we have no counteraction. On one hand, the only time people complain, the only time people admit that pro-gays are misusing the word is when I mention it. I have to mention it first. I've never heard an atheist. Atheists are supposed to be real and truthful. I never heard an atheist mention that people misuse the word homophobe. I have to mention it, and then they agree. And so we're just going to sit back and just let them mislabel us and deceive people about us.
Well,
all right, now a study shows homophobia. The feelings associated with homophobia is rooted in disgust. So I'm suggesting two options: either pro-gays stop labeling us that, and stop trying to use it as a political weapon or whatever they're doing, or stop using it just to insult us just because they don't like us or they want to just have something to call us. Either they get rid of the word altogether, or if they insist on continuing using the word, they need to redefine it and recognize the accurate definition, which is discuss the gays.
Well, I would.
So I don't care if they keep. My point is, I don't care if they keep using the word. Just recognize it as discuss the gays because that's more accurate than fear gays. So I call myself a homophobic because I'm pushing for them to recognize the more accurate definition. Now they can have it both ways. They can say for the fear gays. Then as soon as somebody expresses disgust of gays, they call them a homophobic just to have a word to insult them with.
Okay, and I get your complaint. I stand by the concept that I think your best option, rather than getting into a word battle over it, is to just make the point that and I wouldn't even ramble on the point about. I mean, we're going to get to the issue of disgust soon. I do want to ask you a couple of things to clear up before we get there, but I would make the point of what your argument is, the reasons that you're disgusted or the reasons that you're against this, rather than trying to make the argument about what to properly call somebody. But I mean, I do understand why you have a problem with people calling people homophobes as an insult without having a full understanding of who they are, what their actual position is.
Actually, it's more than just an insult. It's mass deceit. See, you know what? My views, the same views that few need to be an outspoken atheist, is the same views that few need to be an outspoken against some of the things that gays do. I don't like deceit. Just tricking the masses into believing every single person who says anything about gays that they don't like is afraid of gays. That's mass deceit. You know what? That's like Christians claiming all atheists are afraid of God.
Well, no, I think you're a little bit off there. Actually, I think you're significantly off there, and that people aren't trying to really. People aren't trying to tell you not to say what you have to say. Particularly, I brought you on here in front of 174 people now to say what you have to say. It's not necessarily that we're trying to stop you from saying it, but rather that there's a problem, in our opinion, with what that position is. I think that if you are anti-gay marriage, then you should have the right to make your arguments publicly. People should listen to them and then address them accordingly. Go ahead.
Actually,
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I think that was a straw man fallacy, because what my point is, labeling people homophobes is automatically people will automatically assume that they must be afraid of gays because the suffix phobia is involved. Now, if they purposely, first of all, a lot of gays are educated. They know what a phobia is, okay? And they know there's a lot of people that are not critical thinkers, and there's people going to appeal to the masses, and figure that since most people call people homophobes who says anything negative about gays, they're going to assume that they're scared of gays without even applying critical thought. So my point is that is mass deceit, sort of what religion does.
Greg, what did you have?
But you said that. I have a question. So do you disagree with that mass? Do you feel that there's not deceit to just call people homophobes, knowing knowing that they're not afraid of gays, especially atheists? Atheists supposed to be intelligent. They know what a phobia is, but yet many atheists label anybody a homophobe who says anything negative about gays. To me, that's intentional deceit.
Again, I think that you're kind of leaning a little bit too much towards a conspiracy issue here. That I think most people consider homophobia and any phobia to be a rational fear of something, an irrational fear of something. And when people, I don't think that nearly the number of people are calling you a homophobe as a means of of trying to make it look like you are something that you aren't. They hear they hear the things that you're saying, and they think that you must be afraid of homosexuals. They think that go ahead.
Oh, so are you saying that atheists are so irrational that there was many atheists that are so irrational they would accuse me of being afraid of gays without a shred of evidence, and not to mention studies show feelings associated with homophobia is going in disgust. And you know what? Not only do they not have any evidence, there's evidence suggesting that they're wrong.
Okay, first of all,
they still call people, but they still call people homophobes, knowing it. I think it's intentional. That's what I believe.
First of all, I didn't say that atheists were so irrational that anything. I told you that people have a certain reaction to you based on the way that you speak of the way that you speak of homosexuality. Now, Greg here has been real quiet this whole time. I wanted him to go ahead and get a chance to respond. Go ahead.
I've been quiet because I was letting you two talk so we could really get a lot of your opinions, Charlie. But one thing I can say is that the word homophobia exists, and everyone knows it. If you look at the history of humankind, there has been very rare times in which a majority in power will give rights and give freedoms and give power to the minority. If you're waiting for a time in which people, others, them, the ones who you're talking about, people who do not share the same opinion that you do, give a word that will not be the same as homophobia, but rather fit your definition of why you say people are, and you say science supports and your personal opinion, that day will never come. If it is going to become a word to be used to reflect your accurate description of what you feel and the disgust that you're talking about, then it is up to either you or someone like you who has this opinion to coin that phrase, to study the English language, to find something that fits and it describes it just right. But it's not up to them. It's going to be up to you. Actually,
it's when words become accepted as accepted word, and when they put it in the dictionary, it is they do it by the common use of the word. Now, what happened with homophobia is a lot of editors, possibly gay or pro-gay, started labeling people homophobes. In the gay movement, lots of the gay activists are editors that have access to putting out newsletters and stuff, and they started just labeling people homophobes.
That's my point, though.
Yes.
Yeah. That's exactly my point.
So, okay. So
and so my point. I know. If that's your point, then that has nothing to do with if it's deceit or not, because the suffix of the word makes it deceitful by default. On top of that, they're labeling anybody homophobe with no evidence that they're afraid of gays.
Well, I guess here's my point. Do you think that gay people are going to give you any power by making a word that means disgusted by gays and not afraid of gays? Do you think any gay organization is going to do that?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Do you think that any gay organization is going to give you personally and people who have your opinions power by coining a word which means disgusted by gays rather than homophobia? If that homophobia.
Yeah, no, of course not. And so I'm sorry. Yeah, no gay group is going to do that. No gay group or no group that disagrees with you is going to do that. My point was, if you are going to have a word which means disgusted by gays rather than fear gays, that power would not come from anywhere else except for people like you who have this opinion. That is only going to be from you. You're the only one who's going to do it. No one else is going to give you that power. I'm not. Okay.
I'm not. So I'm saying that however you decide to do it, find a word which matches it and start using that. And then whenever people say, how do you feel about this, you can coin that word. I'll just use the word bagel. Okay, I'm just throwing a word out there. I'm a bagel. And they say, what's that? And then you can describe it. But in the original question that he asked, when he was trying to understand, calling into, say, the Atheist Experience show and saying, I'm a homophobic atheist, that automatically gives everyone the impression that you're afraid of, which is not an accurate representation of your opinion.
Well, you know what? Most people who they label homophobes aren't afraid of gays.
Exactly. So it's up to you to do that. It's up to you to change it. You rap. You make up your own music. Make a word. Write a song about it, about that new word. Give it power and a definition in the lyrics. And that is your new word.
I would rather redefine the word homophobe, and the reason why is because that word is a political weapon. It is pure deceit.
Okay.
And you know what? It's just like you said. Now finish me.
Yeah.
They are not willing to be truthful. They're willing to deceive people because deceit helps their fight. If they could just call people homophobes, lying and deceit is beneficial to them.
Okay.
I'm against this. I'm against deceit. I think we should attack that word itself because that word itself is a political weapon. And it is, you know what? And even if I wasn't disgusted by gays, even if I was gay myself, I would be against deceit. Deceit is wrong. Period. I don't care who does it. It is wrong.
Okay, Charlie. I think that we've both. I mean, everyone here has said what needs to be said on this topic, and
Okay.
Let's move on, if we may, to the actual meat of the issue. I'd asked if those sources that you briefly mentioned, the studies for the things that have brought you to your current position of being disgusted and justifying your disgust for homosexuals, and that have led you to take the position against homosexual marriage. Have you read those studies for yourself, and have you checked into the sources for those studies to see if they're credible?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to point out that you just do the straw man fallacy.
I just asked you a question, dude.
I'm sorry?
All I did was ask you a question.
I'm going to tell you your little fallacy that you just do. Right?
Okay, tell me my fallacy.
I'm sorry?
I said, okay, tell me my fallacy.
All right, you said that my disgust of gays brought me to my position on gay marriage. That's false.
Okay.
The disgust of gays has nothing to do with my position on gay marriage.
Okay, then I recant my false assumption, which is not a straw man fallacy. I recant the false assumption that the things that you cite as justification for your disgust, that may be irrelevant to the purpose that you are against gay marriage. But I maintain the question.
The man fallacy is when you distort a person's claim and argue against that distorted version. I never claimed that.
I didn't make an argument, sir. I apologize if the assumption I made was incorrect. But I did not make a claim or an argument. Like I said, sorry if I.
So that wasn't an argument?
No, I was asking you a question, sir, and I maintain the question. Have you read?
Actually, you based the question on a comment. First, you made the comment, and then you were about to base the question on the comment.
That has already been recanted. Okay, and I'll say it for the fourth and final time. That if my assumption or presumption that your disgust is relevant to your position on gay marriage, then I apologize. I will wipe that from the board, and I will ask you again, have you read the studies that you have cited all the way through for yourself, and have you checked into the credibility of the sources for those citations?
Yeah, I read the studies, but honestly, I did not check the credibility of all the sources. Okay.
Are there some particular studies that you haven't looked into the sources of?
All right, you know what? Let me ask you a question. Which studies are you talking about in particular?
I'm citing any number. Right now I'm speaking in general about the studies that you have cited throughout your comment section.
Yeah.
I'm just, if there are particular ones right now that you haven't read all the way through, or you haven't checked the sources for them, then I wanted to know that.
All right, you know what? Let's get into. Let's go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Let's talk about my claims. Let's talk about my claims and the studies.
Yes, let's do that.
So, which one would you like to address first?
Hey, Charlie, this is a proportional response. What I'm going to do is go through a few things. I don't know if you've watched my YouTube channel. I don't know if you know anything about me. The thing about me is that I thrive on research. I thrive on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple things here and ask you a couple questions. One of the studies that you cited over and over again in the comment section and other blog by Hannah Chapman, it says discuss is an evolutionary survival instinct and a behavioral immune system. This study I have in front of me. Do you happen to remember what it said about homosexuality?
Well, I know it mentioned. No, actually, that study didn't mention homosexuality.
Exactly. This is the beginning of a little thing that I want to talk to and ask you questions about. I have the study.
Oh, you know what?
This study specifically looks at the muscles called the levator labii, which go from the base of the eye to the top of the lips. And it measures the reaction of those when looking at disgust and putting something in your mouth that is bitter. What it found was that when you put something in your mouth that is bitter and tastes bad, they react. That's the cheekbones that cringe up. Also, the moral question that it was asking in that, it was an experiment where people sat down and had money given to them back and forth, but it was very unfair, and they also reacted. There was a connection between moral disgust of getting cheated money and putting something in your mouth that is bitter. In no part of the study at all did it give any comments, citations, mention in any way whatsoever human sexuality, homosexuality, heterosexuality, nothing. It has had nothing to do with human sexuality whatsoever. My first question to you is, in a study which does not have anything to do with homosexuality, why do you think that using a quote like, disgust is an evolutionary this survival instinct and a behavior immune system, and try to equate that?
Okay, first of all, I have to call you out on your little, you tried to set me up. You basically, before you knew that you didn't think that I was going to respond that way.
No, I'm looking for a response.
May I finish, please? Oh.
Hey, I said I'm looking forward to your response. I'm not.
I know, but
actually,
I would just like to mention a question. It was kind of deceitful. I forgive you, but it was deceitful. Now, you asked me what did the study say about homosexuality. Now, you knew the study didn't mention homosexuality, but you asked me what the study said about homosexuality, knowing the study didn't mention homosexuality. So that was a clever trick. And
no.
You know what? I'll give you props for that.
Let me tell you exactly why that is not a trick. In the very beginning of this conversation, Grappling asked you, have you read the studies? You said yes. And you said they have. I'm trying to understand why you're using a lot of studies which have nothing to do with homosexuality.
I'll get back to that. I'll get to that, but I just first want to say that when you asked me what the study said about homosexuality, knowing that the study didn't say anything about homosexuality, you just knew that I was going to tell you what the study said about homosexuality, and it's going to make me look like a liar. But I told you.
Because I'm wondering what you read in this that no one else has who can repeat the study. You said it.
I know, but listen, hold on. I think this is kind of funny. Because you just knew that I was going to tell you what the study said about homosexuality, and then you would have said the study didn't say anything about homosexuality. That was really sneaky. No,
Charlie, that's not a matter of sneakiness. He asked you what it had to do with it, looking for how you made that connection, and since Dude, hold on. Yes, Charlie, and you answered. Charlie, you answered the question correctly. You did a good job. You said nothing, and now we can move on and actually talk about.
But I agree. I did say it correctly, but you pulled a little deceitful tactic on me.
Nothing. We were having a conversation. You say that you read it. then stand by what you said. I'm asking you why you cite this study when it has absolutely nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Okay, let's go back to what you said first.
No, let's answer the question.
We're about to move on it. Sir,
we're not moving on. I need to know why. I need to know why.
I understand that. I understand that you want to take the attention off the fact that he tried to defeat me. But yeah, I just want to say this. I just want to say this one more time to make it clear. You asked a loaded question. You said, "What did the study say about homosexuality?"
That's correct.
That was a loaded question. But it was a loaded question.
Straight up, I don't care if you think it's loaded. A question. It's a question because you're this study.
All right. Now, listen to this question. Now, I just want you to at least half admit it.
Now, you're interrupting me. You're using this study in support of your argument. It does not say anything at all. I personally don't care if you think that it is a loaded question. It is not a loaded question. Whenever you do that, you injected this study into the conversation. And I asked you, what does it have to do with homosexuality, and why are you trying to do this?
Okay, no. What you asked was what it said about homosexuality. That's what you asked. Okay, but anyway, you know what? Let's move on. I know you tried to defeat me. That's a loaded question.
I still want an answer to my question. Why are you using the study when it has nothing to do with homosexuality?
Okay, the study raises the question of then the fact that there's another study that shows gay men elicit disgust. Matter of fact, there's several studies that show gay men elicit disgust. The study that you're referring to raises the question. Then the fact that we know that gay men elicit disgust, this study in particular touches on discuss immorality, right? It raises the question of the origins of disgust. Now, the link between homosexuality and this study is disgust. This study talked about disgust, and I understand not all types of disgust, but the bottom line is gay men elicit disgust. That is a fact.
So
now, being the fact that
okay, I see what you're saying. We're talking before about not going on for a long time. You're saying that this study was to show that there is moral disgust, and it does exist.
Yeah, and it is linked to a survival instinct.
Okay.
Now the link between homosexuality and this study is the disgust factor.
Okay, I am going to get that, I promise, but I don't want to take up the time on this. So I'll just close with this final question on this. Do you think that that using this study and using a phrase from this study and putting that into an argument that when it doesn't involve homosexuality at all, do you think that's unfair? Do you think that adheres to what you said?
It is not unfair. It is not unfair because one of the main issue of the topic is disgust. Now we're talking about disgust. We're talking about the origins of disgust. All right, I understand that maybe gays would love to exclude disgust of gays from the origin of disgust, but I don't think it is a good idea to exclude gays from the origin of disgust.
Okay, let me ask you this.
I don't think it's fair to do that.
Before we move into the area where you find that stated that this homosexuality is innate, and I want to get to that and how you come to that, but I do want to ask before we get there, do you consider, therefore, because what you've done is looked at this study that states that we are disgusted by things as essentially an evolutionary defense mechanism against things that might potentially poison us or do harm to us, okay, does that mean, therefore, that anything which disgusts us is therefore naturally beneficial for us to be disgusted by, or is it possible that we can be irrationally disgusted by things?
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, first of all, disgust is widely misused.
Okay, if you want to give us...
I believe many people misuse the word disgust.
If you want to give us your definition...
They say they're disgusted by it. You know? I'm sorry?
If you want to give us your definition of disgust, when you say I am disgusted in the context that you're using right now, I'm happy to listen to that.
Yeah, it is just a sick, some kind of an inner sick. You know, I think it's so deep in my heterosexuality. It's just nasty. It's like it's like a man having sex with a horse. It's
okay.
like a man sucking a horse's penis. I mean, it's just nasty, you know?
Okay, well, do you acknowledge that it's possible for somebody to have feelings of inner sickness or disgust for something for reasons other than it being an innate, natural, evolutionary benefit? Perhaps I'm proposing that it's potentially maybe somebody is raised to believe this, or they're misinformed about something that leads them to. Is that a possibility?
I do believe that some disgust is more of a social construct, and then other disgust is an innate. Now, before I go on, I would like to mention sexual behavior. It shows that disgust drives avoidance behavior in such things as sexual behavior. Sexual behavior was one of them. And Robert Unger, I think, in the School of Hygiene in tropical something. Oh, tropical hygiene and tropical medicine. So that needs to mention different types of sexual behaviors. Hello?
Okay.
Trying to find that one. Another one that you use quite a bit is from Nobe out of 2006, which says Gabriel listed in front of me. Do you know what phrase never exists in that study?
What?
The phrase "best" is not listed anywhere in that study. It was hard to find because Nobe did 3 papers in 2006. Books that are out, and I found it was for 2009. That predicts intuitive disapproval of disgust sensitivity. Let me give you what that is. I can look at bugs, I can look at rotting food, and I just don't care. A little girl will look at it, and she just goes, "He showed that by things more are by sexuality when they oral," which you would think.
Wait, excuse me?
I said that it's very much to your mind.
No, sorry. You know what? There's another study shows that more disgust is linked to primitive emotions.
My question.
I'm sorry.
My question to you, Chance, doesn't exist here in front of me, and I've searched it twice.
Actually, that you didn't mention is
the gay men illicit disgust.
What they did not mention, they didn't illicit disgust, and that is what the study said. But what you're confused, you're basically saying because some people have a higher sensitivity of disgust.
I'm not saying that the study is saying that. I'm not.
I mean, already the study, what you're more likely to show disgust of gay. So that means gay men do illicit disgust.
No, over and over again, I've seen where you post gay men illicit disgust. No, 2006. Now we'll just forgive it. It's 2006. It's 2000 there.
Actually,
And the sentence gay men illicit disgust really is a very, very small idea.
Okay.
Much
You know what?
idea.
Anytime are disgusted by something, anytime a study shows people are disgusted by something, regardless if it's a high sensitivity, gay men elicit that disgust, and gay men were included.
Be a rat.
I know, but you know what? Hey, could you quote the study again so I can show you where you're wrong?
The name of the study is...
Hold on, no, I want you to quote your study so I can show you that you're wrong.
Read the entire study. It's quite thick.
No, read parts where the comment, the claim gave me illicit disgust is exactly what the study is saying.
Where we would need you to
read it over for me, please.
We would need a quote from the study, which I have in front of me, and he has
exactly how gay men, how the study, how the title is actually accurate.
What I am looking at here, and I was. The study here has not been this conversation because we've talked this quote over and over to point. He says, and
I know that for the readers. Say and to quote, to read over what you just read.
What I read was my notes. I swear I'm trying to read it. What I did was reading from my notes. The study looks at disgust sensitivity. Disgust sensitivity is looking at how disgusted a person naturally is when they see an immoral act or something that grosses them out. It's not looking at anything except for overall how easily they are disgusted. What the study showed was that individuals, when looking at homosexual acts, it wasn't homosexual acts as much as a director. Remember in the study now, remember it was the director who was directing homosexual men to kiss in public. And they were more disgusted by the director making them kiss in public. What it shows is that disgusted by hardly anything, you're not going to be any more disgusted kissing or doing something immoral, more so than anything else. But someone who is very disgust sensitive will live.
But some things that don't elicit disgust at all, those people that have a high sense of disgusting things, they are in fact disgusting. And also, I want to mention that study was kind of limited. Okay, just like I said, there's other studies.
Okay.
That's not the only study. That's not the only study that shows gay men illicit disgust. And not saying that you're right, because that study shows gay men illicit disgust. You know, it's just because the people with a high sensitivity of disgust are disgusted by gays doesn't mean gay men do not. Because the people with the high sensitivity of disgust show that they're disgusted by gay men.
Okay, would you can if you're going to broaden the concept that things elicit disgust, then I can say that spinach elicits disgust to me. You know, and therefore
universal disgust
is homosexuality is not a universal disgust, Charlie.
Okay, you know what? And one of the definitions of universal is everywhere. Everywhere on gay. You know what? As a matter of fact, heterosexuality alone just by being a heterosexual man, there's a certain disgust of gay men just by being heterosexual.
Let me ask you this, Charlie. Do you feel that it's possible that homosexuals are disgusted by sexuality? That makes sense to me, right? I mean, it makes sense to you just to check. Are there
I'm sure some gay men are. See, here's the difference. Heterosexuals don't care if gay men are disgusted by.
Okay. Well, let's just stay with me. Stay with me. I get that, but I think that homosexuals are, for all intents and purposes, everywhere in the world. Are they in every? Are there homosexuals, or is there a place that doesn't have any, or can we agree that there are homosexuals everywhere?
You know what? I haven't been to every single place, and I don't know the population of every single place.
But you don't.
Of course, you know. But one thing for sure, people have negative views of particularly gay men everywhere.
Okay, but just stay with me. You already made that statement, and you were comfortable saying that there are people that are their home, and is it possible that they're disgusted by heterosexuals? All of a sudden, it's I haven't been to every place.
The issue. You know what? Here's the issue. You know, this is a nice trick you pull.
This isn't a trick.
You're really intelligent.
This isn't a trick, Charlie.
It doesn't make the claim. Homosexuals aren't present. People cannot be discussed about them.
It's not the. It's not. It's really not the point. My point, and I'll draw it out for you. Okay, is that it's quite possible that homosexuals are disgusted in the way that you are of heterosexuality, that you are towards homosexuality. And with homosexuals being everywhere on the planet, then if there are homosexuals everywhere on the planet that have a universal disgust for heterosexuality, does that mean that they have the same ability or the same worthiness to hold you against the same standard that you're holding against them? Is it then okay and justified?
Of course, you know what?
Is it justified then? They want because it's universal.
If a gay man can say he's disgusted by homosexuals, all day they have to laugh at him because you know he can be
because you're the overwhelming majority.
Don't need. I'm sorry?
The difference is that heterosexuals, Charlie, are the overwhelming majority. So when the minors, homosexuals, have a problem with them, they really don't care. You know, they don't, okay, whatever. The black man usually is going to be upset about that. Or something that your man calls a person a honky. Okay, so what? Now, and before we go into issues of false equivocations and apparent straw man fallacies, I'm just stating that there are minority a little bit more than people that are in the majority when they're constantly being bashed by people that already have an obvious dominance above them.
You know what? Okay, you know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to mention the study that you didn't address yet. A study by Valerie Curtis and Robert Unger shows the driving behavior and specific sexual behaviors were mentioned. A lot of things out of their mind that hurts them, but you know, Christians like to do that too. But anyway. Back to the point.
I promise you, Charlie, just for your sake, I will get to that very soon.
All right. Just for you. All right. Back to your point. Here's the thing. avoidance behavior. And there's also discussed that gate in some of the studies that you haven't mentioned, a study by Greenwald, by Benagi, and so there's more than one study that shows this. And the other study by from the history of came to the conclusion that gay men associated with homophobia. I'm sorry? I think it was homophobia rooted in disgust, not fear.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions about that one?
Sure.
Okay. The Jeff Citing, grad student,
like
I want to let you know that's a wrong nomenclature. Bunami Olajud, I can't pronounce that name, is one person who did the study. Suzanne Muner was another person who participated in that, and Jeffrey Lohr also participated in that study. I got Bunami, can't pronounce. He currently teaches at Vanderbilt University. Okay? The first point I'd like to make is that in my email correspondence, I got a hold of him. That's easy to do.
Okay.
How did
you know what?
How did you read a story that was never published?
How do I read the story that was, I don't know, I did some research. Okay, that study was never published, but it doesn't mean
I know where you got that from. But I know you got that.
It doesn't mean that gay men do not elicit disgust.
Hold on.
You know what? I'll give you that.
Where you got that from was an article.
I'll give you that.
Where you got that from was an article which appeared in the Northwest Arkansas Times. You don't watch my videos, so you don't know, but I attend the University of Arkansas. I was able to correspond with the professor who did that study, and he said that was never studied. That was research that we did, and it was given at a talk at one point in time, but the information from that study was never made public. I was able to sit down with Jeffrey Lohr. Jeffrey Lohr was the mentor, the actual doctor professor that he was working under as a grad student. And this morning, at 9 o'clock in the morning, I got out of bed and I walked into his, and I sat down and I had a discussion with him about this particular information and about that study, which he says, again, was absolutely never published. Do you want me to give you a little bit about what he said?
What? Tell me.
Okay, the first thing he said is that the way that you're using disgust is absolutely wrong. You were better off whenever you were talking to use the word theory, and a scientist uses theory. The way that you are using disgust is absolutely not. It is not an innate, just disgusting feeling. That is not how they're ever using it. They're using it as an avoidance. There's a difference between a phobia and an avoidance technique. With a phobia to get away, it is a flight mentality whenever when you hear something that you fear of. With a disgust mentality, it is simple avoidance. When they say disgust, simply mean want it near you. It's speech, not a study. But my first question to you is you now you did not read that study. Because the headline, the one that you've been posting for the news in the Northwest Arkansas Times, which I was
okay. You know what? The study shows that there's evidence that gay men elicit disgust.
The study was.
It wasn't used until.
But that doesn't mean gay men don't elicit disgust.
Okay.
So my question.
Just because the study wasn't published doesn't mean it's invalid.
You
still could be valid.
It was on information that they were obtaining for another study which wasn't published for 7 years.
It doesn't, but that doesn't.
And that study, just to make sure, because I want you to be able to go back and research this stuff, obviously yourself. The study that was published looked at disgust and conservative attitudes about sex. Conservative meaning political, conservative attitudes about sex, and conservative in general.
Actually, they're especially blacks. Most blacks are Democrats. They clearly are disgusted by gay men. Just something. I'd like to mention a few things.
What? Explain that to me. I really, before you move on, I really need you to explain how we went from this study not existing that you have cited, and you've gone into, well, there are black people who are Democrats that clearly are disgusted by homosexuals. Please explain the relevance there.
Oh, the professor who you talked to mentioned that they were talking about disgust as an avoidance behavior. Well, that is disgust. People avoid what they're disgusted by. Now, people have different ways of avoiding things, of pushing things away. Some people push things away by verbally. They push things away by passionate. So it makes perfect sense why people treat gays the way they do.
Okay.
It's an avoidance behavior, and people have different ways of going about avoiding something.
Okay, Charlie, you've stated...
People have various ways of going about avoiding something.
You've stated the result of being disgusted by something, which I don't think anyone's going to disagree with. No one's going to say that if you're disgusted by something, you try to spend as much time around it as possible. No one's arguing against avoiding things that we're disgusted by. The point is that you haven't demonstrated that homosexuality is an innate disgust for heterosexuals. And here's the really important part. Hold on. Here's the really important part.
Fine. I'll demonstrate that.
Oh no, hold on, dude. I want you to get the point here, and I'm gonna let you talk. I promise.
Right,
Charlie, what did I just say to you, man? Just listen. I need you to understand this point. I don't want you to feel that you've been. I don't want you to feel that you've been deceived by what Greg did, or feel that you're that something has been dishonestly done. Here's the real point, and I don't think you get it. The point is that what it looks like to everyone else, when you go around and you take little pieces from titles or things that seem like they fit your argument from 4 or 5 different studies, and you just take a little piece that sounds like it fits, even if that study wasn't even published and doesn't really exist, but, oh, this kind of makes it sound like this is right, so I'll cite this study to say something like, hold on, stay with me. Charlie, just stay with me, okay? Stay with me and listen. I promise I'm going to let you talk, but I want you to understand this. When you say, okay, here's this piece of this study that makes it sound like homosexuals are we are disgusted by homosexuals innately, and then okay, here's another study that has nothing to do with homosexuality that says that disgust is means of evolutionary protection, and then here's another source that says this. It's looking like you have already made the conclusion, and you're looking for little pieces of evidence that support your conclusion rather than actually looking at holistic pieces of evidence and then drawing a conclusion from that, which is being guilty of the same thing that we're quick to harp on Christians for. Go ahead.
I understand that you hate the conclusion that I came up with, and I understand that many gays can't stand. It's a nightmare for me to come to the conclusion that treatment of gays, negative treatment of gays is just as natural. I mean, the disgust of gays, the avoidance behavior of gays is just as natural as homosexuality itself. I understand that you hate that with a passion, but let's go over a few things.
Actually,
let's go over a few things. Okay. You mentioned what the professor told you, that disgust, like, people want to avoid it. You know, they want to avoid it because it's just stay away from it. People do with gays. That's exactly what so-called homophobes do. that's what it is. Now, if you can't see that, if you refuse to acknowledge that, then that's like a delusion.
I thought that
just so you understand why it was before when I said I'll get to that. Is that when he asked you to define what you were using as disgust, you wrote it down here, an inner sick feeling.
I know, and the inner sick feeling causes
theory. When they're using the word disgust, just as the scientist uses theory a different way than how an average person would on the street, they're using it as just simply meaning avoidance. Imagine taking away the word disgust and insert avoidance. And the difference between you having an inner sick feeling and someone simply avoiding things, you know? That's a very, very different thing. Yes, the professor told me that. Absolutely. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Our problem is that you describe it as an inner sick feeling. It's a disgusting feeling.
I'm going to tell you. Okay, you know what? Okay, why are they avoiding it? What's causing the avoidance in the first place?
There are any number of things that can lead to somebody.
Yes, sure. There's
all right, hold on. Hold on, dude.
Because he paused, that he's giving up ground. He's paused because he's slapping his face.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me give you an example.
No, it's my turn to ask you a question. What causes the avoidance?
Yeah, this is the part where I answer the question and you let me. You stop making the point that we avoid things that disgust us. Everybody gets that. Okay. There are any number of things that can lead to you being disgusted by certain things, whether it's rational or not. The fact that you are disgusted in and of itself does not mean it doesn't mean that it's justifiable.
Okay,
a lot of people, hold on, Charlie, this is the part where I answer your question, which means it's the part where you listen, okay? Charlie, listen, okay? Now, there might be non-innate and unjustifiable, such as being taught the wrong thing, being brought up in a way that gave you that leads to a high dissonance, that leads us to mistranslate the information of studies. Or it may well be, even if it is an innate concern or disgust that leads to an avoidance, like a lot of people have a natural fear of the dark because it's the unknown. It doesn't mean that when the lights are off at night, that irrational fear becomes rational because it's natural. There are more intelligent ways to consider and evaluate the actual information that come to a rational feeling as to whether that's something that we need to either fear or be disgusted by or avoid as a means of survival. That's the answer.
All right. Are you ready for me to respond?
Please do.
Okay. That doesn't. Everything you said changed the fact that for something to be every country, and I haven't even touched on STDs yet, which is the icing on the cake, right? Every country, all right, where gays are, there's a negative feeling of them. Every country, every society, even the few societies, the very few societies that accepted homosexuality turn completely against it. And any time you have something cross-cultural in every place, every society, and in all the time periods, that is a clear evidence that is possibly innate.
Okay, let me ask.
Not to mention, I'm almost done.
Go ahead.
I'm almost done. Not to mention heterosexual men, if they're horny as hell, all right, if they're so horny that they can jack off and do anything, they would not let a gay man touch their penis. Okay? Now, again, you know why? Because they're avoiding them. They are avoiding gay men, even when they're horny as hell. They're avoiding them. Avoiding. You know, remember what the professor said? Avoid. They are avoiding them, even when they're horny as hell. If a gay man begs heteros to suck their cock, they'll get pissed off and avoid them and probably get on soft.
Okay, well, you're at this point you're making a very broad generalization that an entire sexual preference of people would react with anger to something like that is ridiculous. The idea that okay, if a straight man was, straight men in general, a lot of them, if they were incredibly sexually aroused and there was a woman, the opposite sex, came up to them that they were unattracted by for any number of reasons. She wasn't the body type they liked. She wasn't the, maybe she was Ann Coulter, or any number of reasons that lead to them being against that particular woman in terms of attraction. They would still not have sex with that person. It's because they are not attracted to them. They do not have a sexual preference for that person.
There are plenty of men. See, here's the big difference. See, I don't know if you're gay, but gay people like to downplay the difference between men and women. So I don't know if you're gay, but I don't know. But from a straight man perspective, I'm gonna tell you how straight men really are.
Okay, I am straight, so I'm very interested. I'm very interested to hear you tell me how straight men really are, because I wouldn't know. And then next you can tell me what a real man is.
I don't know that now. I'm not talking about bisexuals. I'm not talking about atheists pretending to straight when they're really gay just to try to persuade people. I'm talking about true heterosexual. I'm talking about true heterosexual men.
Yeah, okay? I am a true heterosexual man, Charlie.
All right. What you know? If you're a true heterosexual man, then you should know, right? There's a huge difference between any woman, damn near any woman, right? Unless she just looks like she's about to die. Okay, and you know what? As a matter of fact, just make it equal playing field. Let's say a clean gay man, right? He's clean cut, he looks super clean, right? And you take a clean woman, right? As a matter of fact, you take a woman that's not his type. He would screw that woman that's not his type.
Okay.
Way before he let that gay man come anywhere near his penis.
Okay.
I know for a fact that men have sex with women that they're not attracted to all the time. Men, I'm gonna tell you something. A man is not attracted to his hand, but he jack off with his hand, and he doesn't find his hand attractive.
Okay.
Right, but you know what?
Okay. Okay, Charlie.
Men do not find their hand attractive at all. Matter of fact, their hand can be ugly, and they will jack off before they let a gay man come anywhere near their penis.
Okay, Charlie.
That's what straight men do.
Charlie, first of all, I'm sorry that I didn't. Maybe I haven't been reading the real straight man newsletter, so I wasn't able to know exactly what the real straight man. Unlike, I guess I'm a fake one apparently. But this notion that I think you're confused that sexuality is not as black and white as what it sounds like you're saying when you put yourself in this position. I mean, this is come on.
Black and white.
It's not.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I like there's gays, there's bisexuals, and there's heterosexual.
Yes,
I agree. It's not black and white.
Okay, and that bisexual area it's a very gray area. There are some men, for example, who they would have sex with a man, but it's only it's very rare. It's not very often. There are only certain things, there are different levels of heterosexual men who are willing to say, hey, that guy, that's a good-looking guy. And other people, other men, no, I won't even say that. I won't acknowledge that a guy is good-looking. So, I mean, this area, I want you to understand that when you're looking at people's sexual preferences, what they're willing to do with other people, what kind of people they're attracted to, what attracts them, how they are attracted, it's a very broad area. And for you to generalize that, hold on, Charlie, for you to generalize that into what the real straight men do and what the real straight men think, and if you aren't disgusted by gay people, you aren't a real straight man, I'm sorry, but I can't think of any other word to describe that but erroneous, fallacious bullshit.
Okay, all right. Are you ready to feel debunked Are you ready to get debunked right now?
I have my debunking galoshes on. Please.
All right. First of all, there's a difference between finding something beautiful and finding something attractive. Like a horse is beautiful.
Yes,
but
I get that.
But I'm not going to let the horse suck my penis. See, yeah, it's a beautiful horse, but
I think that would be very unpleasant, Charlie, from a practical stance.
Wait. Could you imagine somebody saying, "I'm attracted to that horse"? You know what? I'm going to tell you the mind of straight men. You know what? Hey, keep in mind, don't disregard and ignore the definition of heterosexuality. Attraction to the opposite sex. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's what heterosexual means. I mean, it's attracted to the opposite sex is the definition of that's a straight man. Somebody who's attracted to the opposite sex. If they're attracted to the same sex, they're not heterosexual. I understand that gay men want to believe that straight men can just go the other way. That's gay utopia.
That's
and possibly a delusion.
That's not the point at all, reality. Charlie. It's not the point at all.
I'm sorry?
That's not the point at all. My.
Listen.
Go ahead.
Are you insinuating that some straight men could just go gay and enjoy it?
No, that's not my point at all.
What's the point?
This is the point where you would say this is the point where you would say that's a straw man fallacy because you.
I didn't say anything about a straw man fallacy. Look. Here's the thing.
No. Look. I want to address the point that you just made. Okay. At no point did I say anything like that. I am a straight man. I'm a heterosexual man. My problem is that when you tell me that by not being disgusted by heterosexuals, when you tell me that by not being disgusted by them, I must be homosexual or bisexual. I can't be a real. You sent me a PM in YouTube. I have it right now that says that I would have to be bi or homosexual in order for me not to be disgusted by homosexuals, because that's part of being straight.
All right, you know what? Let's okay, so you say you're heterosexual, right? I have a question. What's stopping you from letting a gay man suck your cock?
I'm not attracted to men, Charlie.
Oh, you're not, okay, so you're not attracted to men?
I'm not.
Okay, then, so of course you understand, because your brain is not to be, you know what, I don't even want to go there, I don't want to insult you. But anyway.
No, wait.
You can feel free to.
He said he was heterosexual, he's straight, and you asked him what stops him from letting a gay man suck his dick, and his answer was, because I'm not gay. I'm not attracted to
Oh, okay, all right, fine. I'm going to ask you a question. So you're not attracted, to men, right? But
not sexually, no.
When you get, I know, but men, I'm going, have you ever jacked off?
Have I ever? Yes.
Okay, are you attracted to your hands?
Are you making a serious argument here? Are you serious?
No, but listen, it's about, are you attracted to your hand?
Okay.
See, I'm going to tell you the difference between a hand, the difference between a hand and a gay man is a hand is not disgusting.
Oh.
A gay man is. That's the difference.
Okay.
You know what? You might not understand your own disgust. You know what? Disgust of gays is so deeply embedded in you, you don't even realize you're disgusted by them.
No,
you're not attracted.
I want to understand that. No, I want to understand that argument before you move off of it. So, a hand isn't what's disgusting, and if my a gay man's hand is no different than your hand in terms of what it looks like. So, are you okay with receiving? Are you okay with receiving? Are you okay with receiving a? Are you okay with receiving a hand job from a gay man then? Since the hand isn't.
No, that's because it's the gay man's hand.
Oh.
It's a gay man's hand.
So if the hand is attached to somebody whose brain, if the hand is attached to someone whose brain prefers the same sex, that makes the hand completely different in terms of physical attraction than from someone whose brain is attracted to the opposite.
The professor told you, avoided behavior. The hand is a gay man's hand. Avoid that shit.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I honestly tell you that in 2 years, this is the most interesting conversation I've ever been in.
It's very interesting, Charlie, but I do want to get to the crux of the issue that we're here for, the specific topic of this discussion. I want to reach the the issue of, is the request for gay marriage an issue of rights, and should homosexuals be permitted to be married? So I'm going to let you talk on that.
I would love to get back on it, but I'm really interested in you surfacing your own disgust of gays, because I think it's so deeply embedded and it's so innate, you don't even realize that they discuss you.
They don't.
Now, okay, all right, fine. What's preventing? I understand that you're saying. I have a question. So you wouldn't have sex with a woman who's not attractive if she just looks okay? And also, I'll say before I mention this, before I go on, I'm gonna tell you how. If you're straight, then you all understand this. Some men like nice asses. Some men like nice hips. Some men like, I can see a woman, she got a pretty face, and she doesn't have ass or hips, but she got a pussy, and she's a woman, and I can picture myself putting them legs up and going at it. Even if her face was unattractive, if she's not fat, and she don't have any, she got a pussy, and I just want to just hit it.
Well, what if she is fat?
It's just something about it. This way, if I'm horny as hell, and I couldn't get no woman, and I didn't try to talk to 1,000 women, and they all reject me, and that one woman, she got an ugly face, right? She got little tits. I prefer big tits, but she got little tits, but fuck it. She gonna let me fuck, and I'm gonna fuck, because I'm right.
Okay.
That's what straight men do.
So here's the important thing.
I'm just very, now, you know what? I have to be street in order for you to understand this. I have to go street so you understand.
Okay, get street with me, Charlie.
It's totally different with gay men. All I know is avoid their ass. I don't want that shit. It's just like a dog coming to try to suck my dick. Tell that dog to stay the hell away from me. I don't want to have fuck no dogs. I don't want to fuck no horses. I don't want to fuck no gay men.
Okay.
It's all that shit is. I just don't want that shit around me. Just give me a nice woman. I don't give a shit if she's half-ass. She got a pussy. If she got a little tits, I hit it. Okay,
so Charlie, this is what I want you to understand about yourself, despite going all street on us. Now, the the fact that you feel that way, I hope that you can understand that puts you at one place on the spectrum between heterosexuality and homosexuality. You're on the far end of the spectrum that and you feel this way, and that's fine. I get that. Okay, that's great. You are at a degree that other people might not. Other straight men, it's possible for them to say, no, I would rather just
bisexual then.
No. No, you really need to let me finish a sentence. You really need to let me finish a sentence before you interrupt me. Okay? Sorry
about that.
That's okay. But there are some straight men who would not have sex with the only woman available for any number of criteria.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but there are plenty of men who have different. They have different levels of preference and standards. That's completely possible. It's not a black and white issue where we get to where you, any one person, gets to define all of heterosexuality.
So are you telling me that if it was only you, this man stranded on an island, and it was only one woman left, right, and it was stranded on an island millions of thousands of miles away, you telling me that he wouldn't hit that?
If I wasn't attracted to her on a physical and or mental level, then no.
Are you going to get it? All right, let's say you were 17. Your hormones was just, you were booming. You were rock hard, and you just would love to just have sex.
And it's with somebody that does not attract me.
You tell me that you wouldn't have sex with her.
If I'm not.
If you was the only woman there, and you were rock hard, and she was the only woman there, and you were rock hard. What does it matter? You wouldn't have sex with her.
Yeah, no.
I'm having a problem, Charlie. I'm having a problem, Charlie, understanding anything about where you're trying to go with this.
Yeah, I really don't get it either.
Okay, all right. You know what? I'll get off the street stuff so you can understand it.
What you're trying, it seems right now what you're trying to do is to just get, say, Grappling, and just give him all these scenarios, where he would just admit, would he fuck this girl, would he fuck that girl. That's really creepy and weird that you want to get that many details about what his sex life is.
Okay, wait a minute.
That's just weird. Let's just move on.
No, it's not real. That's addressing his point. He's claimed, are you forgetting about what he claimed? He said some straight men would not have sex with a woman who they do not find attractive under any circumstances.
Yes.
That's bullshit.
That in your opinion,
sorry.
That's bullshit. In your opinion.
So, you know what?
What he said before, hang on, let me finish. What he said before is that you hold one place in a spectrum on the extreme heterosexuality side. There are 6 billion other places on that. And when you say that makes what a straight man, you say a real straight man, what that sounds like to me is over and over the things you hear every day. So-and-so is not a real Christian because they don't believe like I do. So-and-so's not an atheist because they don't believe like I do.
Okay, you know what?
Wait, let me finish. So-and-so isn't an American because they don't believe like I do. It is not up to you to judge. You can have your opinion, but that's where your opinion stops.
All right, are you ready to get you? I'm about to really get you right now.
Here we go.
To destroy you, right? You know what? Do you realize you just screwed up in a major way?
Let's hear it.
Tell me how I screwed up.
Okay, first of all, you spewed a faulty analogy fallacy. Okay, when a person does not believe in God, but then turn around and says he does, then he's not an atheist. If a heterosexual says, if a person says he doesn't believe in God, then they turn around and say he believes in horrors, then he's not an atheist. If a person says I'm heterosexual, but then let a faggot suck his dick, if he let a gay man suck his dick, he's not heterosexual. You know what I'm saying? No. That's how it is. You know what you're trying to do? You're trying to disregard the definition of heterosexual. A heterosexual is a man who is sexually attracted to the opposite sex. If he get off on a gay man sucking his cock, he's bisexual.
Yes, but Charlie, you're ignoring an essential distinction between a man who would have sex with a woman despite being not attracted to her by any means, because you just said that means in order to be a real straight man, I would have sex with a woman even if I was by no means attracted to her, just because she's a woman, if the circumstances were correct, when that's not true. You've equated me not doing that with me allowing a homosexual to perform fellatio, which is a false equivalency.
Yeah, but that is exactly why I brought in the disgust factor. Okay, the disgust factor explains my whole claim. Okay, disgust. That's why I say disgust is a part of being straight. Right now, a man is sexually attracted to the opposite sex. All right, but disgust prevents bisexual or homosexual behavior. That's my point.
For you,
it prevents it.
For you.
But disgust. Yeah. But every disgust is that's why they're heterosexual. Why do you think they're heterosexual? You think that so you're saying that they're heterosexual, but then they go both ways. You mean bisexual? You know what? That's like saying you're atheist, but you don't know if God exists. So are you agnostic or atheist? You can't be both.
That's
if you don't
actually
know God exists,
yes you can.
If you go both ways, you're bisexual.
Bisexual.
That's what bisexual means.
Charlie, that is an absolutely horrible analogy, because there are plenty of agnostic atheists. Your point, you're still not understanding the concept that there are different places on a spectrum.
You're not understanding. Thanks for trying to downplay me, but you're all right. Since you said that, explain in detail how you think. Then I'm misunderstanding that. Because you think you just trying to. Explain how I don't understand, and I'm going to show you how you're wrong.
Okay. Well, I would be happy if I was wrong and you actually did understand me, but it seems that you don't.
You said, I said, it's cool to me. Show me where I don't understand it, and I'm going to show you that you're wrong.
Okay.
I understand exactly what you're saying. It's not that hard. So don't try to downplay me just because I admit that I'm disgusted by gays. You try to downplay me and lie and say I don't understand. I understand exactly what you're saying, but of course you want the listeners to think I don't understand, but I do.
No, hold on now. If I say,
thanks for lying about me. Thanks for lying, trying to trick the listeners into thinking I don't understand when I understand exactly what they are saying. I understand that. there's a spectrum of heterosexuality.
Yes.
You're saying that you're basically saying that just because a man, just because a man may just try to let a faggot, would try to let a gay man suck his
No, and no. I never said anything about. I never said anything.
Okay, so what are you saying?
Okay, this is what I wanted to explain, and please understand that if I say that I don't think you understand this, that's not me trying to lie about you or to deceive you or anybody else. It just means that I don't think you get what I'm trying to say.
All right, tell me what I don't understand.
Okay, I'm not saying that some straight men would be willing to receive sexual pleasure from other men, and therefore they're still technically straight. You seem to be wanting to argue over this issue for no really good reason. I'm saying, I'm saying that you came up with this concept of disgust against homosexuals, and you're saying that it's justified when my unwillingness to have sex with another man is not rooted in disgust. There are some women that I don't want to have sex with for reasons other than disgust. Sometimes.
Okay, so are you telling me? Okay, so you're telling me that you're unattracted to men the same way you're unattracted to women?
Some, for some women,
really?
Some women I'm unattracted to, and there are, men I'm not willing to have sex with. There are women I'm not willing to have sex with. Is it the same exact thing? No.
Okay,
there are a number of different reasons.
Okay, so are you not willing to have sex with women for the same exact reasons you're not willing to have sex with men?
No. But the reasons,
So what's the difference then? What's the difference between what reasons? How do you differentiate between not willing to have sex with a woman and not willing to have sex with a man?
Well, sometimes
what's the difference?
It can be put down to the concept of attraction and not being attracted. I am straight, and therefore I am not interested in sex with men. I haven't met one yet that I'm interested in having sex with. However, that does not. This is the point, Charlie, and we can drive off into these circumstances and all these little things of, oh, how can we make it sound like he would have sex with a woman he's not attracted to? But I don't want to do that. I want to make this point, and I want us to move on to the actual purpose that we're here to talk about. Okay, my point is that my not being attracted to somebody doesn't mean I'm disgusted by them or by the sexual acts that they're interested in. It's not a matter of disgust. I'm not interested in it. I'm apathetic to it. It's not for me. Doesn't excite me. Doesn't arouse me. That's it.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm sorry, what was the question that I didn't answer?
I asked you, how do you differentiate the unwillingness to have sex with a woman and the unwillingness to have sex with a man? I'm saying, is it all the same to you? They're just all the same? You're talking as if they're the same sex. And I'm not saying what difference, what drives your unwillingness. So you said unattraction drives you to not have sex with men and women, and that's the only thing?
Well, no, you're looking at there are negatives. There are negatives and positives. I am not attracted to the idea of having sex with a man, be that in any number of ways.
Why aren't you attracted to? Okay, you know what? I'm not going to detail. You're aware that men don't have. Of course, men don't have vaginas. Men don't have breasts. Okay, men don't have a woman. Well, okay, now I'm trying to figure out why couldn't you mention this? Men don't have a woman's body. Men aren't women. Okay, they don't have tits. Even if they did have, even if I knew that they had a fake vagina and they were men on the inside, it would just disgust me.
Okay, and that's you, Charlie. This is the thing I want you to get.
I'm still waiting for you to tell me what's driving? Is it the same? Is the same force driving you to be unattracted to both? Because so far you haven't gave me any difference between why you're unattracted to women versus why you're unattracted to some men.
Charlie,
men.
I've been quiet for a few minutes, but let me interject something in here. He has tried to answer that 3 times. I've got 3 marks on my papers.
No, he did not.
See, but the problem is that just like you just interrupted me, you keep interrupting him. In the very beginning, we talked about not interrupting and letting people make points.
All right, go ahead.
The 3 times that you've let him try to answer, so...
All right.
Okay, I'm not attracted to men. Okay, they don't do it for me. They do not arouse me. Okay, I don't consciously make the decision as to, hey, am I interested in having sex with this person or not? You know, it is a matter of, you know, on the base. What you're talking, we're not even getting into the do our personalities mesh and do our sexual interests mesh.
Okay.
But on the basis, right? That's what you're talking about, physical attraction, right? That's what you're saying. Is that what we can agree?
Yeah.
To? Okay. If I look at
but you still didn't. Okay, so
I asked you for clarification so I could answer.
All right,
Okay.
All right, here it is. What is it? I'll be more specific. What is the difference? All right, between being unaroused, being attracted to being unattracted to women and unattracted to men. What is the difference between the unattractions? Are they the same exact thing or what? Because you mentioned that men, you're not attracted to men, but you also said you're not attracted to some women.
Correct.
I'm trying to figure out, is there a difference between the women you're not attracted to and the men you're not attracted to?
Sure, the women would have a better chance. But and again, there's a matter of a scale here, and I think that you could acknowledge. Well, actually, you might not be able to acknowledge this, but there's also a scale when you look at the men. You know, you can say I'm disgusted and I wouldn't have sex with any men, but if I was to give you a lineup of 10 men, some of them being extremely ugly and some of them being fairly good-looking, you could still say, yeah, I'd rather have sex with that man than that one. You know, even though you don't want to have sex with any of them, you can still make a distinction that, yeah, I'd rather have it with that person. And it's the same thing when you're looking at women, and you can look in the opposite direction, and you can say, okay, here are 10 women I might not have sex with. Stop trying to interrupt me, Charlie. Okay? I think I've been quite fair in letting you talk. Okay?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, I can look at women and say, okay, that woman I'm not interested in. That one doesn't do it for me. And this one does. Okay, that's all there is to it. It's not something that is rooted in disgust. I don't say, oh, this person disgusts me, and therefore I'm not going. You know, I'm just not attracted to them. And I really don't understand, Charlie, the actual root of what's important here. Why it's so difficult for you to accept that plenty of people are simply not attracted to the opposite sex, and it's not a matter of being disgusted or revolted by their presence.
All right, you still haven't. I don't think you understand your own heterosexuality.
Wow.
If you are heterosexual.
Wow.
Now, not finished. Now, here's the deal. I asked you over and over again to differentiate between your unattraction of some women and your unattraction to men. You did not give me a difference. All you're saying is unattraction. That's all you're saying. So you're saying that
I think
same exact
has. I think he
okay, all right. What is besides unattraction?
Let me.
What is besides unattraction?
Ah, God, you interrupt me, dude. Ah, shut the fuck up once in a while. Let me talk. He is giving you the difference. You're not understanding it. Let me put it in terms so that you can understand it.
All right.
Okay? The difference, the reason he doesn't have sex with men and the reason he doesn't have sex with some women is that for the men, he's not attracted to men. As a general rule, half of the population of the earth, he's not attracted to. He's not attracted to certain women because maybe they have smelly vaginas, maybe they're ugly, maybe they're too fat, maybe they're too skinny, maybe they're just bitchy, maybe they're Ann Coulter, but there's a reason why he's not attracted to a certain woman. He's attracted to certain women because they have good qualities and not attracted to women that have bad qualities. What part of this conversation isn't sinking in?
Okay, I'm going to tell you what's not sticking in your brain. I've been understood that you're so far off. It's like you have these presumptions about my intelligence when in reality I'm way above your head and you can't even relate.
You're the one reinforcing that idea.
I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
where both of you completely flew right over your head.
Okay.
Okay. Meanwhile, you're thinking I'm missing something when you're the one way off base. Basically, he's saying unattractive women are equally unattractive. He's basically saying all men are equally unattractive as some women.
That's the exact opposite of what I actually said, Charlie. And I'm sorry that I'm not smart enough to understand when you say things like that, but I clearly said to you, I gave you an example of putting 10 men in a lineup and saying, you know, some of them you would have you'd be more willing to have sex with than others, even though you don't want to have sex with any of them. I'm saying there's a spectrum there, there's a span there, and yes, I think Greg clearly illustrated to you why. You know, I'm not interested in having sex with men. I'm a heterosexual. The appeal is not there for me. And there are, you know, women that I don't want to have sex with for different reasons. It's not just because they're women. You know, it's for a number of select reasons. The point here that I don't know why you keep moving away from it. My point is that I'm not disgusted by those men. I just don't find them attractive. I'm not interested in having sex with men. You know, that's all there is to it. I don't understand why that's difficult to grasp, or why you think that I have to be disgusted. Right. It would be like if I was. It would.
All right, so fine. So you claim that it's not discussed. It's just you're unattractive. Yeah, you know what? That's the best thing you can say to make gays not feel bad, and they should thank you for helping them, but in reality, I'm gonna tell you the big difference. Something that you're completely missing, that you don't realize about yourself.
Oh, please tell me.
There's an innate reason why every single man is unattractive to you. There's an innate reason that you don't understand yourself. Okay, all you know is. Some women you're attracted to and some do not, but you don't understand why all men are unattractive. You don't understand it, and the reason why you don't understand it is because it's deeply embedded in your nature to not be. The disgust is so deep you don't even understand it yourself. We're talking all men. I would not eat any feces. No feces in the world I find delicious. None. I would not eat fish, no feces whatsoever.
Wait, I'm sorry. You would eat what?
Feces, I think, is what he meant to say.
Shit. Feces. I would not eat shit. It doesn't matter what kind of shit it is. It could be dog shit, horse shit. I would not eat shit. You are not attracted to any man, no matter what kind of, whether they're Indian, Asian,
okay.
You're not attracted to them. So you don't even understand your own heterosexuality.
Okay, now
your unattraction is driven by disgust, and you don't even understand.
Okay, well, Charlie, what I've asked you to do is to explain to me why that feeling has to be discussed. Because I could say to you, hey, look, you're not attracted to men, therefore it must be because you're afraid of them, or therefore it must be because you're curious about them, and that curiosity disturbs you. So I could say it's because you're disturbed, or because you're afraid, or because you're insecure, or any number of things. And all you're doing is you're claiming that I'm disgusted when I'm telling you I'm not. And I'm trying to explain to you that different people, Charlie, I'm trying to explain to you that different people, I'm muting you now because you're having trouble listening. I'm trying to explain to you that different people fall in different places on a sexual spectrum of what attracts them and what does not. And I would like you to be able to acknowledge that maybe you don't have sex with men because they're disgusting to you, but not everybody is like that. And the sooner that you can understand that the entire planet is not on the same page with you in terms of your disgust for somebody or your willingness to try to deny them the same rights as other people, the easier it will be for you to listen to them. And I would like for us at this point to move off of an individual sexual preference and move into the actual topic that I was hoping for us to discuss.
No, fine. No, what?
What's that? You're.
I said attraction and unattraction doesn't apply to gays. It's like being sexually attracted to dogs. no one would say they're attracted. That some dogs are definitely unattractive. Nobody would say that. Why? Because they're so far off. They don't even belong in the category of attraction and unattraction. That's what gay men are to heterosexual brains, if you have one. Gay men are not even on a level of attraction or unattraction. It's not even unattraction, and attraction doesn't apply to gay men, to heterosexual men. It's like saying I find horses unattractive. Of course, all horses are unattractive, because if all horses are unattractive, they don't even belong in attraction and unattractive category. It doesn't even fit. They're in the disgust category. It's not even a. What's the point even saying you're not attracted to gay men? If you're not, because gay men aren't women. They don't even belong in the category with attraction or unattraction. They want some disgust type of shit. That's not what you're doing. Why you even saying you're unattracted? Listen, if you're unattracted to all gay men, why even say you're unattracted? That means you don't even belong in the category with attraction.
So then any living organism on the entire planet that is not a female human is disgusting to you, then. Anything that you would not have sex with is disgusting to you? I'm asking you this question, not making a claim.
Anything that is, you're asking me, anything on this earth that I will not have sex with is disgusting. Put it this way. I don't think men are disgusted by sex toys. Okay? I don't think if a man is horny as hell and somebody with a pillow against his penis, it wouldn't disgust him. If somebody put a comb on his penis, it wouldn't disgust him. All right?
You're getting back to individual preferences.
Wait. Even if you rub his, I'm gonna tell you what men don't want on their penis.
Wow. Really? You're going to speak on behalf of the entire male populace?
Men don't want shit. Men don't want shit on their penis, and men don't want dick. Straight men don't want dick. Shit and gay men are two things that men do not want on their penis, because they're both disgusting. Why are you even saying you're unattracted to men if every single one of them are unattractive? Why are they even in the category of unattractive to begin with?
So for clarity's sake, Charlie, I asked you, then by your logic, are you disgusted by every living organism on the planet that is not a female human? And your response was, let me tell you what straight men don't want on their penis. They don't want shit, and they don't want gay men. That was your answer.
I'm disgusted by anything that's not a female that's willing to attempt to have sex with me.
What? But wait. You're disgusted by homosexuals.
Listen.
No, wait.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you something. A pillow. There's no need for me to avoid a pillow.
No, Charlie, you're not getting it. That's not a living organism, man. You're
the point. I'm disgusted by any. No, I agree with you. I'm disgusted by any living organism that's not a faggot. I mean a gay man.
Charlie, you talked about it a while. Let me ask the question again so you understand what he's trying to ask and what the point is.
Okay.
Hey, 2 questions. Would you have sex with a cat?
No. Just like gay men.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you would not have sex with a cat, right? Are you disgusted by cats?
I'm disgusted by cats in a sense of sexual attraction. Okay, you know what? I'm going to ask you a question. Are you unattracted to cats?
Wait. I don't understand your answer. You're disgusted by cats sexually?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a cat. A cat is pretty. I've had it,
you have your definition, an inner sick feeling at cats. You wouldn't fuck a cat, not because it's a cat. You would not, avoid fucking an oak tree because it's a fucking oak tree. You wouldn't, but you would avoid that because an oak tree disgusts you sexually.
An oak tree. See, it's easy to imagine. I wouldn't do it, but I'm pretty sure it's easy for a man to imagine the oak tree as a female.
Okay, I think that's a bit of a non sequitur. So the point is, you described it as an inner sick feeling. Now, I'm glad that you arrived at the position of understanding that your disgust, as you're explaining it, is specifically regarding the sexuality of the thing.
You know what? It's time for me to take you to the next level. I think your brain is ready for it.
Oh, let's hope so.
Don't wait. Oak trees. Wait, just let me say this. Oak trees don't spread STDs. Okay, like gay men do.
Are you giving for not having sex with an oak tree right now?
I'm sorry.
Are you giving like reinforcement, positive ideas for reasons why I should go fuck an oak tree right now?
You know, I'm basically saying disgust is that the disgust is an evolution. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the big guns on you. Disgust is an evolutionary disease avoidant behavior. Humans have learned through evolution. Humans have evolved to discuss things that will destroy them, disgusted by things that will destroy them. Some of the things that are bad for humans are some of the things that humans have evolved to avoid is homosexuality. Gay men are the undisputed champs of STDs. Now, no one knows how long STDs have been around, but we do know how long disgust has been around forever, and there's studies proving that moral disgust is linked to survival instinct. Okay? So what's going on is gay men, the disgust is actually justified. Okay?
Okay, let me ask you this then, Charlie. So, to be clear, is your point that we've recognized that, according to you, homosexuals are more likely to have STDs, and therefore we have evolved to avoid them? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, straight men, I think, first of all, gay men probably have, gay and bisexual men probably have some kind of disgust deficiency problem going on. But for the straight men, disgust of gay men has actually prevented many straight men from contracting STDs. Study shows 1 in 5 in major cities, 1 in 5 gay men have STDs. If straight men had interacted with them too, a lot more heterosexual men would have STDs. But being the fact that they've avoided that, we don't have this nowhere near as many STDs and high rates of infection as gay men.
Okay.
There's a reason. There's a reason why we develop this disgust, and we don't understand it.
I can explain why, if you like.
Okay, why?
Okay, let's go back to one of the studies that we were talking about before. It is the one by Nope that you were citing, where gay men elicit disgust, where it gave the origins of the evolutionary reasoning for having an aversion to gay men. Let me read a piece out of here. Perceptions. The role of disgust is played in the perceptions out of groups that are seen as violating cultural norms, especially norms related to 1, food preparation, 2, cleanliness, and 3, sexual behavior. Individuals belonging to unfamiliar groups, especially those who engage in unusual practices regarding food, cleanliness, and sex, pose a higher risk of carrying novel and therefore particularly dangerous infectious agents. Here's the important part, okay? This is the evolutionary part of it. It is important to note that this argument does not assume that all or even most of these outgroups actually did pose a risk of infection, but because risks of failing to detect a contagious individual greatly outweigh the cost of wrongly identifying a harmless individual as contagious, one would expect that the behavioral immune system to display hypervigilance. What that says is this in general. When we're talking about cleanliness, a lot of people who live in the Middle East don't wipe their butts with toilet paper. They use a bottled water to spray down their back and to rub their butts off. That is something in the United States that is considered not a part of a cultural norm. It is a part of our evolutionary background to look at groups, especially when we're looking at cleanliness, okay? To look at those as spreading disease. Whereas when you look at it, it does not. Actually, it's much better for the person to do that method than it is to wipe with toilet paper like we do, because you don't get everything and you still have residue left. But it is seen as more infectious, more contagious. That is why it is seen. And the reason why is this one sentence. It's not the norm. It's not normal. It's a part of the minority. When a majority society look at the minority portion and they do something different, they are always seen as contagious, and it inflicts avoidance, not discussed in the way that you are portraying this as.
All right, in the case of gay men, the disgust is not just it's not irrational disgust. The disgust is justified because the facts are. Federal scientists have deemed gay men a threat to public health by not allowing them to donate blood, plasma, bone marrow, and sperm. Now, we're disgusted by gay men. Ours is like a window to science. We don't know why we're disgusted. It's like evolution has evolved us to be this way. But long after we've been disgusted by gay men, scientists are understanding why.
That's not. That's the antithesis of the.
Wait. I'm not finished. The facts are. The facts are. The facts are. If straight men did, in fact, experience homosexuality, just experience it, just by experiencing it, just to see if they like it, they are at a high risk of contracting STDs.
What I would require before I were to take that seriously is for you to display the links to the studies with
because no problem. I have it right here.
All the studies that I have issued so far and had a chance to read over have been, complete bullshit. Including this one, and this one, okay, and the most important one, to shine, or it gives you a chance to duck out, to save face here, okay? Looking at a study, or a Blog TV, not Blog TV, it was a Atheist Nexus search. Whenever you are making points about the disgusting, and it cites a study which backs up your claims, okay? The study itself backs up your claims. And it was a collection of the 1,000 most recent studies on homosexuality, diseases, practices, etc. It's that one?
I'm not sure, but just go to finish.
Okay, I got to hear where you cited this. Let me give you some stuff that support your argument, okay? In the gay community, hang on, let me roll down here so I can get to here. Support yours, and we're all talking about homosexual men here. In the gay community, 50% drug use, 60% of male homosexuals have engaged in unprotected anal sex, and 21% report never using condoms. Fisting was done in 13% of the 12 months. Violence have been reported in slightly more than half, usually against other homosexual. Lesbian mothers raising children reported to have dead mothers raising their child with a father in the family. Here's why you're wrong. The study that, now this looks at the past 1,000 studies on homosexuality. You shouldn't have cited it, and why you're wrong is of the 1,000 studies, there was no listing of what the criteria were. These only 75, no reason why those 75 were cited. In the community, when I said before, in the gay community, 50% admitted to illicit drug use. That cited a study. Okay, it did not say so in the study, but if you look at the footnotes, and let me tell you, the footnotes are the key. The footnotes is that study showing 50% admitted to illicit drug use was taken from a study looking at drug use and sexual risk behavior among gays and bisexual men who attend circuit parties. The study that 21% never used condoms, and also the one that was looking at fisting was a descriptive analysis of HIV risk behavior with other men attending large sex resorts. These are things that have and lots of KY with hump tops on top. Here's the most ridiculous one. violence has been reported is taken from a community counseling program. They went into a community counseling program for violence.
I'm sorry, what's the... I have a question. I don't remember even citing studies like that. The
study is a general review of recent reports on homosexuality and lesbianism. Let me get through here, and
I didn't cite that.
Yes, you did.
I never cited that.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I'm going to tell you this. No, listen. How about this?
You did. I'm telling you where. I'm telling you where you... The name
Atheist Nexus? What are you talking about, 4 years ago?
No, I'm not. Atheist gays. You posted under there under Charlie Checkham, and I have a huge list here of things.
How long ago was that?
Listen to me. Let me finish. God,
I'm asking how long ago it was.
I'll give you a chance to speak.
Okay.
The narf.com sexuals. You cited them, you defended them as being a scientific community and said they had no bias, that they were just exploiting the science. Now, in the same study where you were looking at lesbian mothers raising children without a father reported more severe disputes than did mothers with their child than whenever they mothers had father present. The study, the footnotes are the key. When you look at the study, it just says mothers. It says nothing about lesbians. Last point. This is the last point, okay? And then I'm going to let you speak for a while. The nail in the coffin for this study was the very last paragraph before it went to conclusions, where it cited a study that was done by a guy named Paul Cameron, okay? And he cited a study, you're looking at 4 different areas that were the worst. And the name of that study was Homosexual Sex as Harmful as Drug Abuse, Prostitution. Research Council, who's also against abortion, stem cell research, global warming, pornography. That study that they used for the absolute hammerhead for the basis of this study was written along with Kirk motherfucking Cameron.
Okay, are you ready for me to respond now?
I am, in just a second. This is a study This is a study that you are using to push forward your agenda, looking at the homosexuality, looking at the violence, looking at the fisting, at the horrible things that go on in homosexuality, and why these things back up why you are so disgusted. And the cornerstone of this paper, all those studies I just showed and why they were taken out of context, because the most important one being co-written by Kirk Cameron, Mr. Crocodile left behind Herbie the Love Bug.
Are you ready? Are you ready to get the box made a major way?
I have one last sentence, and this is it.
All right, go ahead.
You said before, people who are against you are truthful and willing to deceive. Who are you to talk? All right, now.
All right, are you finished now?
Yeah.
I tried to stop you before, but all you did was do a fat red herring fallacy. First of all, Jackson's aware of this whole disgust factor. I didn't even mention disgust. We're talking about disgust of gays. You have to go back to something that I've mentioned like 4 years ago. This is funny. All that has nothing to do with disgust. Also, it is an ad hominem fallacy. So you feel, wait a minute, just let me finish. You just wasted 10 minutes spewing 2 huge fallacies. How do you feel?
You have just,
I feel fucking great.
You've just spent...
What I did there was I looked at what you cited and I looked at the study. How
like 3 years ago? No, wait. No, wait. I'm going to say, it's funny. You just, okay, first of all, regarding disgust and diseases, we're talking about disgust and diseases I'm engaged. You just said, fuck that, and just went on to some other shit 3 years ago that I wasn't even talking about diseases.
Yes, it were.
We were talking about diseases and STDs. Why the fuck are you mentioning some shit that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about? And also, so that makes it a red herring fallacy. And this is what makes it an ad hominem fallacy. Nards are Christians. Kurt, whatever his name is, I know he's a dumb Christian, but you judge the claim by its validity and not the person's position. You're judging Nards' claims by their position instead of the validity of their claim. That is a fucking ad hominem fallacy. That's why I call myself a fucking evolved atheist. Because most atheists are unevolved.
Nope, I'm not.
How is that an ad hoc?
Now, you know what? Now that we were sidetracked by your fallacies, let's get back to the fact that gay men are the untreated child of STDs.
I just made a statement, and I deserve a point to say something in return. You said that I attacked Narth. I didn't attack Narth. I hate Narth. I do not like that, but that itself is not the point. The point is that they put this study together. They are talking about diseases, and you cited this study as a backup for your...
I wasn't talking about disease. My claim wasn't about diseases. I didn't say nothing about diseases then. I'm gonna tell you the sites I said about it. I cited CDC. That's who the fuck I cited, and I see you mention them now. Now let's get down to some real shit. CDC shows 44%. Of course,
you move on. We need to make sure that we're clear here. Are you saying, Ben? Are you taking back the study that you cited? Are you saying that if I could do it again, I wouldn't have cited?
You know what? I don't even remember. Honestly, that was like 4 years ago. I don't remember that. I truly forgot. I don't remember.
2 years ago.
But now that was 4 years ago, and it had nothing to do with disease. I thought we were talking about gay men and STD. You know what? I think you should apologize to your listeners for trying to deceive them.
When they collected all these things.
That's,
August the 3rd,
that's 2 years ago.
It's almost exactly 2 years ago.
What? Okay, it was a long time ago, and those studies had nothing to do with gay men and STDs. You try to deceive your listeners.
With gay men and STDs. The story is about gay men, and it's about homosexuals and lesbianism. Mentioning.
I know, but I thought we was talking about gay men and STDs, which is red herring fallacy, right?
No,
you know, how about this? Listen. Why don't you admit that you just do the fat red herring fallacy?
I will admit for you that I just beat the shit out of you, and you have nothing to come back at me with. Therefore, to try to say
listen, that claim wasn't a straw man, wasn't a red herring fallacy?
You cited this study.
Yes or no? Was it? That's not the question.
No! He's referring to the study you cited about the topic.
I thought we were talking about STDs and gay men, and you went on to some other shit that had nothing.
How is a study... How is a study that you cited about the spread of gay men and disease not related to gay men and STDs? How is that not related?
What did you say?
I asked you to explain how a study you cited about the alleged spreading of disease among homosexuals, how is that not relative, because it would have to be relative to be a red herring, how is that not relative to gay men and STDs, which you're talking about?
Okay. You went on talking about things about violence among gays.
That was included in the same source.
Wait. This whole shit about violence among gays and that has nothing to do with fucking SPD.
It was in the same source. It was in the same...
I know, but listen, we're talking about STDs, and now you're talking about violence.
Yes, the violence was in the same... Dude, he read you... He read you the same... The title.
You're missing something. Here's what you're missing here, Charlie, is that this study has an entire section devoted to HIV, and then has a whole other section devoted to syphilis and other venereal diseases.
Okay, you know what?
And in addition, the one that I read you, I didn't read you any of from that part, but the part that we...
Okay,
the part that I did read you is where we're talking about... Let me finish. I'm trying to help you out, man. I'm trying to help you out. Listen. That I didn't read you from those sections, but what was a clue about the spread of disease was when I talked about 50% of male homosexuals engaging in unprotected sex and 21% never using condoms.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not pulling this out. This is stuff that...
Okay, so you saying, you know what, so you're saying that that's not true?
What's not
Are you saying it's not true, or are you saying that narcs are assholes, so it's not true? Are you saying it's not true because of facts, or is it not true because...
What I'm saying...
Because you're trying to fuel an ad hominem fallacy.
Okay. Here's what I'm saying. It's not an ad hominem, but let me tell you what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you read this study, it simply says, like in a general conversation, let's say that I was in a general conversation and I said that 50 to 60% of gay men don't use condoms whenever they have sex. And I just say that to you, as it does in this study. But then you ask where did it come from, and I go and I look over and you look at the study that I cited, and it's talking about a very specific criteria. For example, if I just say to you that half of homosexuals are the victims of abuse, and you say, okay, where'd you find that? And I tell you where I found that, and you go get it, and you see that it's talking about 50% of men have been abused in a community outreach program which takes couples that are gay and puts them in their talks. One is the abuser, one is the abusee. I've just misrepresented myself. I tried to make you think that half the gay men have been beaten when I got that information.
Okay, all right, now.
Like a battered women's shelter, okay? In this study, here's why. In this study, it's citing all this stuff as if they are just blatant facts. But when you go...
All right, I have a question for you.
You see that it's...
I have a quick question for you.
That's my point.
All right, I have a question for you. What claim did I make? Did I say 50% of men, or tell me the claim that I made?
The claim that you made is that you're talking about, let's see, mental disorders, you're talking about sibling marriage in this section, and then you cite, here's my source, and you give a link, and it was a copy-pasted.
Yeah.
I copied and went right to that specific study.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry.
Let me finish my sentence so you understand. Here's the point, is that in this thread, you're ranting about gay men, okay, and homosexuals, and you say,
but no, I said,
what
did I say specifically?
I'm sorry, say again?
What did I say specifically 2 or 3 years ago?
Okay, as to supply evidence that gay people have something wrong with their brains, what exactly is something wrong?
Well, what does that got to do with STDs? Wait, what does that got to do with STDs?
You're not listening to me.
No. I'm trying to figure out. I heard what you said, but you said I said something wrong with the brain. I'm asking you. You said that I said something wrong with the brain. I'm asking you, what's my claim about STDs?
God, it's so hard for you to listen without interrupting.
No, it's so hard for you to understand because you're
listen to me.
It's so hard for you to understand. I'm asking you, listen.
All
I want to know is, did I make a claim about STDs?
You asked me a question, let me answer it, for fuck's sake.
All right.
You keep interrupting. Remember in the beginning of this conversation?
All right, listen.
If you answer the question, shut up for a second. Answer it.
All right, go ahead talk to your red hair intelligence. Go ahead, Mr. Red Hair Intelligence.
Fuck my God. Damn, Charlie, my finger hurts.
That's sounding gay right there. You sure you're not gay?
Wow.
Gay.
Okay.
Look, hold on. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, and I won't interrupt you guys again. I'm sorry. Now, show me where. Quote me from 2 years ago. Wait, quote me from 2 years ago when I said saying something about STDs.
God, I can't start. I'm starting to talk now. Don't interrupt. I'm starting to talk right now. I never said that you were pointing these out with diseases.
It's the red hair policy. It's definitely the red hair policy.
Charlie, you just interrupted Charlie. Shut the fuck up, Charlie.
It's not it's a red hair fallacy then. All right, go ahead.
Ask me a question and you want me to answer it? Do you want to know the answer?
All right, go ahead.
You have
All right, go ahead.
I'm in charge of
red hair fallacy.
I will fucking mute you. You fucking talk. I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry.
You keep asking a fucking question, Charlie, and interrupted me.
Go ahead.
Started for a fucking talking.
Go ahead and talk.
God damn.
Go ahead.
All of these arguments in this thread, you're making all kinds of claims. I said you to make no disease claims in this. You're making claims about mental disorders. You're making dozens of diseases. They have something wrong with their brains, etc., etc. Then you say, here's my source. And it goes to this particular study. Now, when you take this study, hey, this study covers a plethora. It covers 101 things. One of those things is diseases. I cited where there was abuse abuse, fisting, physical abuse, and diseases. The point of me bringing this up is that you support this. You cited this. You did this study. You brought this study to people's attention and said it was legitimate science. When it's a horrible study, Charlie. It's a horrible. The footnotes destroy it. And I'm asking you. The reason I brought this up is that in the beginning we asked you, have you read these studies? And you said that you had, which means that you did not research this shit, because the name Paul Cameron should have been a clue that he wrote a paper with Kirk Cameron. Yeah, both of them, Cameron, and it should have been a clue.
All right, are you ready to get your bump again? Are you ready?
All
right. First of all, you said that I did not make a claim about STD. Correct.
You've made lots of claims about it.
And am I right or wrong? I'm talking about 2 years ago, 2 fucking years ago, you hit the training for like 2 years. Okay, first of all, I thought you were talking about my recent claims, but you're going back 2 years ago. I think that's kind of funny. But anyway, okay, and when you refer to these studies, I thought you were talking about the studies that I sent to you just recently. But you're going back 2 fucking years ago. I had no idea you were talking about those studies. These studies, when you said these studies, okay, you deceived me into thinking that. I mean, first of all, you had me thinking you were referring to the studies I sent you. How the hell am I supposed to know that when you say these studies, you're talking about some studies that had nothing to do with? I didn't even know you then. I didn't send you any of these studies. And some shit you looked up from fucking 3 years ago.
But I can't.
Okay, that has nothing, and by which I didn't even mention STDs. And we're talking about STDs and gay men. And you brought up a claim that I said mentioned that had nothing to do with it. It's not my fault. Some of the stuff that was in the report also had some about STDs. I was there talking about STDs. Just like you said, I didn't mention STDs. You spewed a fucking red herring fallacy. Because we're talking about STDs and gay men. So why don't you just admit you spewed that fat red herring fallacy, and then we can go back to the claim you're supposed to be on.
I'm sorry, I don't see it that way at all.
And much more,
I gave you a chance to save yourself. I gave you a chance to save yourself. I gave you a chance to save yourself a little while ago. I said, if you could go back and do it again, knowing what you know now, would you still support this study? And you said, yeah.
And
this study, okay, first of all, I don't even know which study. I take this back. I would say but fallacy. How about if do you know what a red herring fallacy is?
Do you know what a fallacy is?
And rhetoric, and I'm gonna tell you something. A fallacy is a form of deceit. You know, you tried to deceive me. That's what the hell you did.
What did we try to convince you of that wasn't the case? What were we? We were trying to deceive you.
We're in the middle of talking about gay men and STDs, and then you mention studies. I'm thinking you're talking about it when I was referring to STDs just recently, the studies I sent you, but you went back and done some shit up through you. So it had nothing to do with STDs. I didn't even mention it.
Okay, Charlie.
Man, that's fucking. No, that is outright deceit. I'm sorry, you're fucking deceitful.
Charlie, you have repeated the same. You can have that opinion. You repeated the same thing about 3 times now, and Greg has responded as to why he brought up what he did and the way he did. I don't think it's going anywhere.
You know what? Then if it was a red herring fallacy, I think you should just pretend you never pulled that dirty shit and just let us know. How about we continue talking about? I don't think we should base some shit on a red herring fallacy that you do. You should be apologizing for that sneaky shit you pulled. And how about if we continue? No one. And how about if we continue talking about the studies that I sent you about STDs? The real shit about STDs, not some shit that had nothing to do with STDs.
No, you might have been confused. You didn't send me anything. All I'm getting is my research.
Yeah, but
what you said to him?
About these studies. I'm talking about the. Okay, you know what? Are we going to stay on the subject of STDs or not? Because
I would like us to move.
Are we going to turn your fucking fallacy into the main discussion? And since you dispute that fact right here in fallacy?
I would like us to move to the actual discussion that we agreed upon for this, which I've been trying to get to for about 2.5 hours now. What you said about a half hour ago, that you would love to actually discuss this, but you wanted to go on about what it means to be a real straight man.
All right, you know what? I'm just going to say this real quick. Study shows CDC, okay? CDC shows that gay men are 44 times more likely to contract HIV than heterosexual men, and gay men are the undisputed champs of STDs, mainly HIV, and chlamydia, and syphilis worldwide.
Compared to what?
And that explains why we have this evolutionary disgust. It is a disease avoidance behavior.
Okay, and that's fine.
It has to be that.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I'm all calm now. It's all trying to be calm.
I'm sorry. Now,
my point that I was saying before is that before I could respond to those figures, okay, you would have to send me. You're more than welcome. You can send it to my YouTube or however, or you can post it here in a Skype message. You would have to send me the links to those so that I have a chance to look at those studies. And the reason is that I can't respond is that I do research. And because of the studies that I've gone through so far, where they, either they don't have anything to do with homosexuality, et cetera, because of that, I would need to see that and be able to chance to review that before I could respond. If you send me those, I will review those stuff, and I will give you a reply letter or make a video.
All right.
But
before I
go to that, I need to see that. But in all honesty, the topic and Grappling has been trying to get to. I feel bad that it's gone on for so long. It's about gay marriage being an issue of rights and should homosexuals be permitted. So for the time, can we move to that, and then we'll save the CDC stuff when you give me a chance to read it for later.
Is that fair?
And also, all right, just one more thing, and we just I promise. The last thing, I'm gonna say one more thing, and we can move on to gay marriage.
Okay.
The study at Ghent University shows gay men are fueling HIV across Europe.
Okay, and if you'll send me that one too. Send me that one too, yeah. Send me that study also, and I'll look over that.
All right, Ghent University of Belgium.
You feel free, get a list together, honestly, get a list, and send all the studies that you want me to look at and review, and to give you reasons. Well, either I could very well agree with a lot of those, but send me those in a list so that I can go through them, and I'll spend a day or two going through all those. I love it. I read papers, okay?
All right, cool.
All right.
Now you said you had something to say about gay marriage?
Yes, yeah.
That's the topic.
The topic that we agreed to work towards, and I'm sorry it's taken this long, but you have told me when I originally asked, should gay people have the right to be married? Your response to that was that the request for gay marriage is not a matter of rights, and I am proposing that marriage is a right, and I propose that it's a right that homosexuals should be entitled to. So I want you to go ahead and take as much time as you need to explain what your position specifically is and why you hold it.
All right. Gay marriage is not a rights issue, just like polygamy is not a rights issue. Incest is not a rights issue. The reason being is because, first of all, unlike polygamists and, let's say, brother and sister incest, it's possible for gays to get full equal rights without the word marriage. Now, if the rights are there, if all the rights are there, the only thing is left. The rights are there. The only thing is left is the word marriage.
With the exception to have the right.
Yeah, but marriage is an identity. If all the rights are there, if they obtain all rights, marriage becomes an identity, because if they got all the rights, there's the rights attached to marriage because they have all the rights.
Okay, well.
And then the only thing is left. The only thing would be left is an identity. An identity is not a right.
Charlie, there's a group of people that happen to disagree with you on that issue, and they go by the name of the Supreme Court, where in cases like Long versus Virginia, Zablocki versus Red Hale, and Turner versus Safely, marriage was determined as a right to specific groups of people in all three cases. One being one of the most clear and important ones being Loving versus Virginia, where they overturned a previous case ending all race-based legal restrictions on the right to be married. So the specific language of the Supreme Court stating that you had the right to be married despite the other race-based legal restrictions that were present before. People were not recognized as having the right to actually marry people with certain areas with legal restrictions based on race.
Right, yeah.
And that court case by the Supreme Court acknowledged those people have the right to be married. Just like in 8 states that have done so just fine in this country have allowed gay people to have the exact same right to marriage as straight people have in those states. So I'm looking for you to understand why it is a matter of rights, as it was in those 3 Supreme Court cases.
I understand it, but it's hard for you to understand that you just do the
fallacy. What kind of fallacy was it this time?
You need to wait. I understand. You need to understand that it is a fact, huge, faulty analogy fallacy, and it's an attempt, a deceitful attempt to appeal to emotion. Shame on you.
Shame on me. Shame on me for trying to give equal rights to people.
Okay, let's get into this. Marriage has established the identity of marriage has been established to mean man and woman. That's what it has been established to be, right? Now,
in what place? In what place? Because there are 8 states that have established it to be beyond man and woman.
Marriage worldwide.
Worldwide.
Marriage, the man established is just automatically just established as the ultimate commitment between man and woman.
What do you base that on?
Right?
How is
another name for marriage in the U.S. has always been husband and wife, not white husband and wife, not black husband, black wife, not white husband, white wife. It has always been husband and wife. And it is established as man and woman. It was so, I'm going to tell you something. Man and woman is so obvious in marriage, it actually helped gays sneak in their agenda because people never even would have imagined somebody would even think it's not man and woman. So that actually, so it has been, so the establishment of man and woman in husband and wife, as husband and wife, actually benefited gays because it was so obvious we didn't see the left part coming. No, it's almost like you just reach. It's almost like we just know you want to throw the right punch. We have no idea that you can actually believe that two fucking men could be married.
Okay.
So, then the fact that it was so obvious, we didn't see it coming because we thought the shit was obvious.
Okay, so you've been surprised that homosexuals wanted the right to be married. What I want you to go ahead. I'm sorry if I was wrong about that.
You know what? Just like I said, I don't think homosexuals are being completely honest. They pretend that it's a rights issue, but then anytime somebody mentions obtaining full rights without the word marriage, they treat that worse than not being able to marry. You know what? I think they would rather not be able to marry rather than if they have all the rights without the word marriage, they can't appeal to emotions.
I'm looking.
It's hard to appeal to emotions when you have all your fucking rights.
I'm looking for you
to. They don't want all the rights because they use rights. They can't use rights to appeal to emotions if they have all their rights.
Okay, I'm looking for you to explain to me, Charlie, what harm it does to anybody else. What harm does it do to the heterosexual community, to anybody else, for homosexuals to be able to have marriage and call it marriage and have the exact same privilege to do and call marriage what marriage is? Tell me why that's a problem. All I'm hearing from you right now is that traditionally we've accepted marriage as being between a man and a woman, and therefore it should stay specifically between a man and a woman, despite the obviously successful acceptance of homosexuals into that right in 8 current states in the United States. I want you to explain to me how that's harmful to anybody.
Okay. First of all, when you say it's harmful to anybody, that is subjective.
Okay, well, I'm looking for your subjective opinion.
All right. People have different values. The same way a person would dislike the fact of people with brain people with brain abnormalities to try to use the word homosexual to claim that they want to be labeled homosexuals. Now, I could ask you, well, how would that hurt homosexuals? To have other people called homosexuals. It's not harming homosexuals. It's just including, it's just broadening the definition. It does no harm. Okay?
No, that's a mislabel. You're not talking about an ability. You're not talking about an ability.
It depends on the value of the identity.
Okay, so
value that identity, and guess what? Heterosexuals value the marriage identity.
So
homosexuals value the identity of homosexuals. Heterosexuals value the identity of marriage as husband and wife.
Okay, so by this standard, Charlie, are who value their same ethnic marriages, white couples that value their marriage as being something between white people that they have a right to do, or something between black people themselves, who are disgusted and offended by the nature of a black man marrying a white woman, for example, is the fact that hold on, let me finish. Is the fact that what they value about that being offended, is that a good or even acceptable reason for us to deny interracial couples the right to be married? I'll tell you, the Supreme Court says it isn't.
Okay, first of all, are you willing to say the same thing about the polygamous?
Sure.
And incest couples?
I'm fine with polygamists getting married.
So you are with ancestry and incest and polygamy.
Those are two different things that I wouldn't lump into the same category.
Two different things.
Yes.
Okay.
Polygamy is.
Oh, really? No way. Just for argument's sake, I'm gonna pretend that I'm a polygamist, even though I'm not. I'm just gonna pretend. You're violating my rights. You're treating me like they treated blacks. Why you being?
Because I think you deserve the right to be married. I'm treating you like what?
Yes. Because if you're treating polygamists, I mean, if you said we're treating gays like they treated blacks, then you also have to say they're treating polygamists like they.
I said I agree with polygamists being married.
Yeah, you missed that. Yeah, I think you said something.
Oh, okay. So you agree. You actually agree.
Should be able to marry like 3 or 4 women?
Yeah,
sure.
I'm fine with that.
And gay incest, and do you also agree with gay incest?
No.
Why? Well, you know what? Well, you treated them like they treated the blacks, right?
No. Here's the reason.
Yes, you are. Yeah,
Charlie, listen for the explanation.
They can make the same exact claim.
Charlie, you asked me a question, and I'm trying to answer it. You said why.
All right, go ahead and answer it.
All I did was, and here's why, and you interrupted me.
All right, go ahead.
It's different than polygamy. I don't have a problem if you want to be polygamous.
Oh,
but it's different.
So listen to the explanation.
Yeah, I agree. It is different.
Acknowledging differences in things.
Okay, go ahead.
30 seconds. Shut up, please. Just
let me go ahead.
The reason incest couples are different is that if a man marries, let's say his cousin, okay, their children, if they have children, there's a higher proportion of those that can be born with mental diseases. Now, mental disorders, because the children didn't have a question in that, and they are put at a disadvantage and are not given the same courtesy, the same mental ability as everyone else, then I would say that adversely affects the children. Now, to answer the question I'm sure you're getting ready to ask, let's say that there were two people who were, let's say there's a guy who has a second cousin who's named Lisa, and they want to get married. Let's say Lisa had an accident. She could not have children. I don't care if they get married. Because you eliminate the child, the disadvantage from that. So if they're in love and they want to get married, I don't care. That's me personally. I don't know if he has a different opinion.
Okay, you just do the fat straw man fallacy.
But the problem is,
what?
Wait, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you how you screw the straw man fallacy.
Hang on one second.
Weird. I don't know what the straw man fallacy is.
Yes,
I'm gonna tell you how you shoot the straw man fallacy.
Yes, sir. Yes, Charlie. But let me finish.
I specifically said gay incest. No, what?
The problem
Yeah.
with the question that you gave is that you just threw polygamy. You said, do you have a problem with polygamy and incest? And as soon as he started to answer, you lumped those two together. It's the same thing as me saying, do you have a problem driving to sports and going to a university?
I specifically said gay. I specifically said gay incest. I specifically said gay incest.
Yeah, I don't care then. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't oppose gay. You don't oppose gay incest.
No.
Okay,
No, neither do I.
All right, fine.
I shouldn't have to say this, but as long as both of them,
let's go over what you said. So you don't oppose polygamy, and you don't oppose gay incest, right?
As long as both of them are over the age of 18, as far as the
Okay, so in your mind, anybody who opposes gay incest and polygamy are like racists?
No.
So how about if you oppose gay marriage, are you like a racist?
It depends.
If you oppose gay marriage, are you like a racist?
It depends on their reasoning for it, Charlie.
Oh, it depends.
Yes.
Okay, so why is it different from opposing gay incest and opposing gay marriage? Why is it one you said no, the other and you say you don't know?
Because when I asked you for your reasons for that, the best thing you could say was an appeal to tradition. And I'm certainly willing to listen to any better explanations that you have to offer.
I didn't even mention truth. I specifically mentioned the value of the identity. Now let's go back to this before you. I see you trying to bet to escape it because it makes you look at that. Now let's go back to it. You said. Now I'm gonna ask you this again. Every single person in your mind, if you claim that anybody who opposes gay marriage is like a racist. In order to not be a hypocrite and contradict yourself, you also have to say every single person who opposes polygamy and gay incest are like racists, just as bad as racists.
No.
Are you willing to make that claim?
At what point did I say everybody who opposes gay marriage is as bad as being a racist?
Okay, so is it bad to oppose gay marriage?
I put the same contention that I would for anything else. It depends on your reasons for it. Charlie, if you ask a question, Charlie, if you ask a question, you're muted. You are muted. Stop fucking talking. If you ask somebody a question, you need to listen for them to explain. You don't get to just ramble off in some condescending douchebag tone and assume that you're right about something without the ability to actually hear the side of the opposition. It makes it a one-sided bullshit waste of time rather than a productive conversation where you might actually learn something. And perhaps if you stopped accusing people of fallacies every 3 seconds and actually listened, you would absorb some new knowledge and you could stop moving on into this Stone Age concept where you make equivocations that make no sense. When you ramble off accusing everybody of a fallacy, you don't listen to the new information that's being presented, and you refuse to accept that there are nuances between different issues, and that accepting those nuances doesn't make you less right about your opinion on one than it does the other. It doesn't make that person wrong. It simply means that they recognize differences in different things. Now, the case that you brought up here is the difference between polygamy or incest and gay marriage. Now, if you can explain to me why the reasons for gay marriage being not being a legal option, if you can explain why those reasons are better than issues like Greg brought up with the reasons that he's not particularly fond of incest and insexual sexual relationships, if you can bring up reasons like that, and tell me ways that gay marriage leads to things like that, where children are that are born into unnecessary risks of mental illness, then you might have something to go with. And before you go off talking about how children adopted into these kind of homes are going to be turned into raving homosexual little monsters like you've done in videos before, recognize that there are no valid studies that say that, but all studies of pedagogy have pointed out that there's much more, that the dominating factor is the way parenting is done, not the genders of parents, whether it's a mom and a dad, two dads, or two mothers. Now, you've been muted while I was saying this, because otherwise I would have been interrupted 10 times despite giving you the time to talk. So, if you can make those distinctions, if you can explain to me why homosexual marriage is going to cause those kind of problems, it's going to cause some kind of problem that is actually harmful to other people, then please give us that explanation, or you can kindly shut the fuck up.
All right. Are you ready to get completely destroyed?
Absolutely.
Because I'm about to completely destroy you right now.
Go for it.
Okay, first of all, to make it fair, and since you believe in rights, every time I'm mentioning gay marriage, I'm going to mention it says and polygamy. How about that? Now,
did you listen to anything I just said to you? First of all, no, you obviously didn't listen to a damn thing I just said to you. First of all, I told you that I was fine with polygamy. I told you I was fine with polygamy, so I really don't get what your point is. Secondly, lumping those things together, ignoring the nuances between them, and not understanding why people can have different opinions on those things is ignorant on your part. And like I said, if you have different opinions, like I said, Charlie, if you can see that people have different opinions on things like interracial marriages versus homosexual relationships, that's fine. I'm willing to listen to you explain those differences. Please do so instead of saying something like, well, I'm going to say polygamy every time I say gay marriage. What do you think about that? So you can do that at this time.
Let's be pro-life. Listen. Let's be pro-life.
Hey, Charlie, just
we're going to talk about rights for everybody.
Hey,
not
Charlie,
just gay. Let's talk about rights for everybody.
Hey, Charlie, one second. I'm not interrupting. I'm just saying that I'm doing Skype call. There's a thunderstorm that's kicking up here, okay? So if this call gets disconnected, I will get you both back, but I don't want either one of you to think that, I'm just, knocking you off, or you, Charlie.
All right.
So if you get kicked off, just relax for a second, wait a minute, and I'll call you back. I want to let you know that, just make sure that you understand, you know what I mean?
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Now,
Don't interrupt, man.
You know what? I think I want to think like you now. I want to be pro-rights for everybody. Let's be pro-rights for everybody. Don't exclude anyone. All right? Okay, so I don't want to violate anyone's rights, including polygamists and gay incest couples.
It depends on what your reasoning for them are.
I'm sorry?
So if you have a reason that certain people are worthy of being denied a right, for example, Charlie, we deny rights. No, you need to actually. You asked me a question. You said okay, so you need to give me an opportunity to respond to that question. So there are people in society that we have deemed no longer worthy of certain rights. There's a reason we have a sex offender list. There's a reason we have prisons. There's a reason that we do certain things. And if we have a justifiable reason to deny certain people rights to do certain things, which is part of how law works, then you can make an argument for that. Otherwise, you can argue against it. That's how discourse works. So, again, rather than trying to jump into these groups of people and trying to make, say, oh, this entire group of people is like this, if you have a legitimate reason, that's what I'm asking you for. Stop running away from the concept. Stop trying to equate it to other things that you can't explain or justify. If there's a legitimate reason why homosexuals do not deserve the right to be married, then please explain that. I'm waiting to be destroyed.
Can I have a chance to explain?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to start off like this. I'm going to explain. Just bear with me. I oppose gay marriage for the same reason I oppose gay incest, polygamy, and gay polygamy. I oppose all, as far as I'm concerned, they're the same shit. Okay? And the reason I oppose all of those, okay, is because marriage I value. Now, values are subjective, but I value the word marriage as the identity of man and woman. Marriage is the only word that specifically represents the ultimate commitment between man and woman, and there's nothing wrong with man and woman having one word that specifically that specifically represents the ultimate commitment between man and woman. So my question to you is, what is wrong with man and woman having one word, and only one word, but that specifically represents the ultimate commitment between man and woman? What the hell is wrong with that? If on top of that, I'm saying I'm down for gays having 4 equal rights without the word marriage, because there's nothing wrong with man and woman having one fucking word.
Okay. Now I'm going to say something. I'm going to mute you in advance so you can't interrupt me when I make this point. But I will agree with you that it's okay for man and woman to have a specific word that relates specifically to the identity of men and women being married. That's fine. And homosexuals that are married can refer to themselves as something specifically for the sake of identity. That's fine. However, they can both easily fall under the umbrella of marriage. So they're both married. Now, if the homosexual community the heterosexual community wants to say, oh, we want a word that distinguishes our type of marriage as different from the homosexual type of marriage, then we'll say, okay, ours is hetero marriage. We are hetero married. If they want to obsess over that point, and they can create a word that is specifically for them. That semantic reason to deny other people the exact same right based on you think you have a specific personal value for a word representing a specific group of people with now, because as I predicted, you were going to try to interrupt me, so listen, that is not an argument. It holds no water, and I'm still waiting for you to explain to me why that's a problem. To answer, why for them to have another word other than marriage. I addressed this in my video to you, touching on the principle of the matter. Just like we shouldn't deny interracial couples the ability to be married and call it marriage. If a black man and a white woman get married, we don't have to call it intermarriage, and they're not allowed to be officially married with an official marriage license. We give them the same ability to be married as we give couples of the same ethnicity, because it's the principle of it. Go ahead.
May I respond, please?
Yes.
Huh? Okay, now. I gave you the reason, but you just refused to acknowledge it because you don't have shit to say. So you just pretend that you didn't acknowledge it.
What reason are you talking about?
Actually, I'm going to tell you again. I understand that you love appealing to emotions. I told you over and over and over and over again that I believe they should have full rights, but you continue to say they should have rights. Even though I keep telling you that I agree. They should have rights. They should have rights. They should have equal. How many times I say this shit? But of course you have to appeal to emotions and pretend this shit is a rights issue. But I keep fucking telling you this. It's not a rights issue. It is an identity issue. Now, my point is, the word marriage has already been established as man and woman. That's the fucking word. That is the word that they have. Marriage is the fucking word.
Yeah, and you recognize that the definition of words change.
You said that you agree that men and women should have a word that specifically means men and women.
If that's what they need, sure.
That word is marriage. That's the fucking word. That is the word.
Marriage is an umbrella.
From them, they had to shit for thousands of years. Why take it from them now?
Because
listen, they've been identifying with that word for thousands of years. It's not shit because a gay woman want to wear a fucking suit at a wedding.
What?
All because of that. All because they want to wear a black fucking suit. They want to snatch the word from heteros that have been having them. All because a gay man wants to wear a fucking wedding dress. They want to snatch the word from heteros that they've been doing for thousands of years.
No, Charlie. They are entitled to the same institution. It's the same right. It's having that same ability.
I know they're entitled to this, but you agree with the word.
No,
My point is, they already got the word marriage. They already got their word. Why take that from them?
Hey,
Why
Charlie,
are you taking that from them?
I don't know if you're aware. I honestly do not know if you're aware. Okay. Do you know what the legal issue is with that argument? Not the semantics version of a word meaning the same thing, but the legality of it. Do you understand? Do you know what the argument is?
Yes, it's the institution. But my point is,
Let me interrupt.
It's very possible to have two entities under one institution.
Okay, let me explain why there's a problem with it legally. It's not the legal argument. Is that there's a group? It's a group of lawyers which fight for gay rights, and they have identified 1,400 different rights that people federally have if they're married, and they are not afforded to people who just have civil unions. Civil unions was the best case scenario. This is where the number is the smallest, okay? Because two people being roommates, you don't have any rights with each other. But if people are in civil unions, which are allowed in some states as far as gays, it's the best ratio. Is 1,400 federal rights left to go. Legality comes in, and whenever you say that you're for them having equal rights, but they don't need to have another word, or they don't need that word marriage, etc., is that 1,400 laws are written in that are only afforded to people who are married during the time of men and women. Let me explain what that means. If let's say that you are for say two men or two women getting married and having all the equal rights. If they got married, do you understand that it's a legality issue where there's still 1,400 federal rights? For example, I'll give you a great example. Two men who are married and one man who dies, the one who's living isn't entitled to any Social Security benefits that your wife, if you were married, okay, that she would be entitled to.
You know what? Are you done yet? I'm trying to be respectful. I hate to say this, but you just wasted 5 minutes doing a fat straw man fallacy. Now I'm going to tell you how you spilled a huge fat, a 5-minute fat straw man fallacy.
Okay.
Now, I just told you that it's possible to have two entities under one institution. Under one institution, gays will be entitled to all the rights. You know what? I don't think gays being honest. They want the person's word married so they can feel normal. Yeah, if they got all 1,000-something rights and not they have the word marriage, they would be pissed off because they have fucking self-esteem issues. They just want to feel normal, just to have the word feel normal.
Is that why is that the reason you really think?
That's the damn problem.
Charlie, is that the real reason you think that gays want the right to be married? Are there any other reasons?
No, I'm going to tell you. So, I think that it's possible because when I've mentioned several times that I want gays to have all rights. They get even more pissed off at me than if I said they shouldn't get married and have no rights. They hate my, even though I'm saying they should have full rights, they hate even worse.
Because the qualifier that treats them like they're something inferior that needs some kind of because the qualifier that treats them as something that does not deserve the same treatment cannot possibly be considered that is insulting to them.
You agree that you don't have a problem with them having their own special identity.
I agree. Right? I don't think you understood what I was talking about, and I thought I explained it quite clearly.
I understood exactly what you were talking about.
No, you don't, because you just misrepresented what I said. Or the point to what I said, which was if heterosexual people want to be able to call their marriage something different from what gays or homosexual people will call their marriage, then they can have something and they can call it that. But both can fall. But both can fall. I'm muting you again. but both can fall under the umbrella of marriage. Just like you're saying, this institution can have two things. It can have gay marriage and it can have homosexual marriage. They have to be called different things. I'm saying the institution can accept both people, and if both types of people, and if one type, the type that currently has the rights, wants to have some kind of semantic reference because they value the idea of this word so much that they don't want it being confused with something else, then they can call it something else. And in the 8 states where this has been legalized and all these people are entitled to the same rights, including the District of Columbia and those states, there has been no loss of value in terms of what it means to be married. People in the District of Columbia, for example, know what marriage means. They aren't confused. They aren't lost. Heterosexual people don't have their marriages devalued. They aren't hurt in any way by it. It's not damaging to them. It hasn't caused mass confusion over what marriage means. So, if you can tell me something that's happened in those places that have implemented this, that has been worth you denying this ability to people to be married, then you have something to say. Otherwise, you don't. So go ahead.
All right. Of course, gays would like to have the word marriage because it's just like I said, it makes them feel normal. They don't care about what heteros value as their specific identity. They know. You know what? Let's be real about it. Gay people they already know that heteros value the word marriage as the sexual identity of man and woman. They know that. They just don't give a fuck. They say, fuck what you value. We want this shit. Fuck you and your relationship.